Six-time defending Southern Conference champion Georgia Southern has one of the nation's top rushing attacks. The Eagles' spread option soared to over 390 yards per game last year and 6 consecutive playoff appearances. The two-time defending Southland Conference champion McNeese State will try to stump the option, but the Cowboys can pound the football as well. The boys ran all the way to the championship game in 2002. The number 2 Georgia Southern Eagles battle number 3 McNeese State next on Fox Sports Net. From a sold-out Cowboy Stadium in Lake Charles, Louisiana, Fox Sports Net proudly presents a head-to-head matchup of a couple of heavyweights in Division I AA football. Maybe the best 1AA matchup of the season in the regular season, as the number 2 team in the land, the Eagles of Georgia Southern, take to the road to take on the number 3 ranked McNeese State Cowboys. Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Eschenfelder alongside Gary Reasons. Folks, trust us, we have been waiting for this one for a long time, and it should be a whole lot of fun. Georgia Southern comes into this one. They do what they do about as well as anybody in the country. That's run the football. It starts with the quarterback, Chaz Williams.
Well, Chaz Williams leads a team that has 6 national championships on the wall, Kevin. And I tell you, they run that spread option. They run it very well. Chaz Williams, the trigger man, the quarterback, he makes everything go. His go-to guy is Jermaine Austin, the fullback or the running back in that offense. Those two are the 2 returners from a year ago leading that offense, running the football. They expect big things from them this season as well.
Well, McNeese got beat in the championship game last year against Western Kentucky. They had an offense that didn't make many mistakes and a defense that was just flat awesome. They get them all back. Roderick Royal and Rod Gully will be tested tonight.
A couple of great players. Rod Royal, an All-American player a year ago, also All-Conference, and Rod Gully, All-Conference as well. Those two have to play well. Assignment football against an option team. Roderick Royal has to play well inside, and Rod Gully in the alleys on the pitch, he has to come up and make a lot of plays tonight.
All right, huge crowd expected. Why not? 2 of the greatest 1AA football programs ever getting ready to go head-to-head meet for just the 2nd time all time. Chaz Williams, the Offensive Player of the Year in the Southern Conference last year, and you've got the other side, Vic King from the Southland Conference, the Offensive Player of the Year. Should be a good one. We'll have the kickoff when we return to Lake Charles next. Southland Conference football on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by La Quinta Inns and Suites, the official hotel of the Southland. By Spalding. By Art Car, producer of the Southland Conference Championship rings. By the McNeese State University Alumni Association. And by the Southland Conference. Well, the folks have made the trip over from Statesboro, Georgia on a gorgeous evening for football. A little hot and muggy earlier today, but things are cooling off nicely, and the Georgia Southern Eagles and McNeese State Cowboys just moments away from getting underway for just the 2nd time all time. These 2 teams met in 2000. That was in the first round of the 1AA playoffs. That one Georgia Southern won handily, but you got Georgia Southern coming in here 1-0 after an easy win over Savannah State, while McNeese comes in 1-1. They've won over Henderson State to get the season started, then lost big last week at Kansas State.
Kevin, this is a chance for both these football teams to really find out where they are as a program, playing a top-notch opponent, both of them. So they're going to find out very early in this season just where they're at, and they're going to measure their abilities as they both prepare for conference play.
So the McNeese State offense will get the football to get this thing started up. McNeese, located here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, about 3 hours to the east of Houston, Texas, about 2 hours to the west of Baton Rouge. And we want to thank those of you for joining us on Fox Sports South tonight. Those of you back in Statesboro, Georgia, it's your kind of weather. 61% humidity, calm winds, and clear and lots of bugs, and that's what you get here.
A lot of love bugs out this time of
Louisiana
year
Gulf Coast.
No doubt about that.
Well, McNeese State went to the championship game last year, lost to Western Kentucky, while Georgia Southern lost in the semifinal to Western Kentucky. A close ball game there, but just the first time these 2 storied programs have gotten together in a regular season game. Tommy Tate in his 4th season, a .731 winning percentage. The 2002 Eddie Robinson Award recipient last year as the 1AA National Coach of the Year. He's 47 years old. He played defensive back here at McNeese back in the late 70s. Meanwhile, Mike Sewak, former University of Virginia offensive lineman, in his 2nd season. Couple of stints as an assistant coach at Georgia Southern, and spent some time as the offensive coordinator at Georgia Southern as well. 12-3 this his career after going 11-3 a year ago. Georgia Southern ranked number 2 in the nation. McNeese number 3. And we are underway in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Jonathan Dudley hits it deep. Right back up the middle of the 22-yard line. Maybe a loose football. They hold on to it. It's a 17-yard return. Good yardage as B.J. Sams brings it back out. A pretty good place to start for the McNeese State Cowboys. It's Scott Pendarvis, the junior from Walker, Louisiana, brings his team on the field. He's a great competitor, 15-4 as a starter. Nothing flashy, but he just gets the job done. Never going to see great numbers from Pendarvis, but then again, look at the interceptions. Just 1 to 4 touchdown passes. LeBlanc, Hudler, Laborde, Demarest, and Krayshawn up front. Vic King and Lawton. Keep an eye on Lawton as they lose the football on 1st down. It'll stay with McNeese, but an inauspicious start to this one for the Cowboys on 1st down and 10.
Don't want to have those miscues early, especially against a pretty good Georgia Southern defense. Take a look at the handoff here, trying to do the quick spin around on the reverse, and good job by Pendarvis getting back on the football.
Yeah, their wide receivers will carry the football quite a bit. You'll see B.J. Sams and Britt Broadhead, they'll give it to them on reverses all night long. But Vic King, the single setback, and Pendarvis wants to call a timeout. Obviously not very happy with the way things are going right now, and we're just underway. What did Georgia Southern do to confuse him so much?
I don't think it was anything Georgia Southern did that he didn't like. Very much just a wrong formation. There were some players out of position for what Scott Pendarvis had called to get his offense on track.
Let's check out the Georgia Southern defense.
Well, they're a 4-3 defense, Kevin. They play very well. Up front, you're going to have Victor Cabral. He's an excellent pass rusher from the outside. He's going to play defensive end tonight. And on the linebackers, Burchett get back in the ball game this week. Did not play a week ago. Should expect a lot from him. And this secondary, Deion Stokes on the corner, is a pretty good one. And look at James Young, the free safety. He's going to make a lot of plays this evening.
I'm real happy with the progress of Tariq Muhammad as well. Mike Sewak, his team, no problems with Savannah State, although they did fumble the football, turn it over, I should say, 5 times last week against Savannah State. That was the one negative really out of that game. Scored on their first 3 possessions, pretty much put it on cruise control after that, went on to a 35-0 victory. Wow. Tommy Tate saw his team give up 55 to Kansas State. Vic King up the middle, nothing doing. Whole lot of white jerseys waiting for him. Derek Butler, the junior from Orangeburg, South Carolina, was the first man to get there.
Kevin, McNeese State's offense is based on running the football and then using play-action pass. They have to get that running game on track, and Vic King is their workhorse. They're going to give him the ball 20, 25 times a game to get that on track. But I tell you, Georgia Southern, they're jacked up coming in here to play this football game.
It's 3rd down and long. 3rd down, 13. No football team wants to be in this position, but this is really not McNeese's game. Pendarvis, straight drop, plenty of time, throws, complete. B.J. Sams, depends where he slid. He may be about a yard short of the 1st down.
Yeah, maybe so. About a half yard short of that 1st down mark. He caught the ball very low and slid. Pendarvis could have let him. He could have had a lot more yard. You're going to see to the left side of your screen coming across. Take a look over here as B.J. Sams comes into the picture. Scott Pendarvis throws this strike. Look at it going low. Good job going down for the football by Sams.
It'll be 4th down and about a foot. And Pendarvis wisely asks for a measurement.
You know, B.J. Sams is somebody, Kevin, they want to get his hands on the football quite a bit. He does so in the kick return game. We saw him on the kickoff return and also now in the passing game. Like you said earlier, they do run reverses, so don't be surprised if B.J. Sams puts his hand on the ball quite a few times tonight.
That much. It'll be 4th down. Interesting call here. Looks like...
Well, you're in your home stadium.
It.
You know, it's a chance you can have your crowd behind you. Maybe
I think this is the right call.
Well, maybe so. Good call. You know, play the percentages here, kick the football, punt it. You know, Bob Stoops a couple of weeks ago at the University of Oklahoma, similar situation at Alabama. He called a fake punt in this situation.
Well, Lewis Barr goes deep. Jason Cook will punt it away. That was against Alabama. Folks on Fox Sports South know all too well about that. Good high punt. Barr takes it. No halo rule anymore, folks. B.J. Sams, not only can he run the football back, but he gets down the coverage team as well.
Well, when you're the gunner on the outside, they expect you to cover on punts. So B.J., they stick him out there, one of the fastest players on the McNeese football team, and does an excellent job in coverage on that punt.
44-yard punt, -1 on the return, so 45-yard net. Very, very good. There you see Chaz Williams, Southern Conference Player of the Year a year ago with just absolutely obscene numbers. 1,422 yards rushing, over 1,000 yards passing. The one number, though, that jumps off the page, 27 rushing touchdowns. Here, they pitch it to the slot back. Kevin Davis, and Davis rumbles for a gain of a dozen as Chris White and Cedric Lars finally got to him. We talked about Chaz Williams, 67% of his passes that he's completed in that first game. It was just 4 of 6, but you know this guy's got a nose for the end zone. Turner, Cordy, Wayne up front, along with Mott and Collins on the right side. Jermaine Austin, Kevin Davis, you just saw just a moment ago with that run. P.J. Cantrell, and then Carl Kearney, who may be the best pro prospect on this team. Handed right up the gut, not a whole lot there as the interior line for the McNeese State Cowboys there to stop that. They call it the triple option. That means there's a lot of things you have to stop. That makes it awfully difficult for a defense.
Well, the defense has to do that. It's assignment football when you play an option team, and the defensive line, the linebackers have to play inside technique, take care of the inside run, which they're going to give it to Jermaine Austin a number of times in there. And then he's going to pull the ball and pitch it to the outside. He's got 2 talented slots coming around in Kevin Davis and T.J. Anderson.
Lead option. Austin trying to get the corner, instead cuts it back. Met rudely there. It'll be a 3rd down coming up from the 39-yard line as John Paul Jones, sophomore, making the tackle.
John Paul was a great player, all Southland Conference a year ago. He's going to lead that defensive line. That linebacker group out there also, Roderick Roll and Ryan Garrison. Those 2 are going to come up and play big tonight. Take a look at those 2. They're big hitters, both of them out there. And in the secondary, Rod Gully. You know, at free safety, we talked about him, but look at Keith Smith on the outside. He's one of the best cornerbacks in all of 1AA college football.
Pitch it on the way outside. Not going to get there. Great job by Cedric Lars as he came up and made the hit on Kevin Davis, and it'll be punt time for Georgia Southern.
Kevin, that's alley play. I talked about it, about Rod Gully on the free safety side. This is Lars, who's the strong safety. The same assignment here. Watch him come off the block and make the play in the alley. Good job that time on the tackle on the pitch play.
Sams goes deep for McNeese. A very dangerous return man as Sean Holland will punt it away. Holland with just 1 point, or 1 punt, I should say, in the Savannah game. That was a 40-yarder. High spiral Sams on the fly. Lost the football and got it back. It's a good field position for McNeese. They'll have the football for the 2nd time so far. 3 and out, 3 and out. McNeese has it when we come back. We're scoreless in Lake Charles. Let Tommy Taylor try to get the offense going. What does McNeese need to do in this ball game? What are their keys?
Well, I think they need to run the ball very well. It sets up their play-action passing game. Tommy Tate, he runs an offensive system that their design is to run the football. They've got a big offensive line. They're much larger. They're 305 pounds across the front. And I think defensively they've got to crowd the line of scrimmage against Georgia Southern. And then Sams, we talked about him already. B.J. Sams get him the football a lot of times tonight.
Pendarvis on the little waggle. They complete it to Matt Gore, the tight end, into Georgia Southern territory, but this may come back. Looks like you're going to get a hold on Britt Broadhead, the wide receiver downfield.
Yeah, there's going to be a penalty there. Good job on the play action. He's got a hands in the back. Illegal block is going to go against McNeese. But that's what you want to do with this offense. A little misdirection off a play action pass, and you're going to have an open receiver out in the flat. And Scott Pendarvis throw a good one there, but a but a block in the back is going to bring it back for naught.
That was a 22-yard gain. So wipe out the 22-yard gain, but may keep the Georgia Southern defense a lot more honest. They saw some misdirection there. So Vic King and Luke Lawton in the backfield behind Scott Pendarvis. They hand it to Vic King. King slicing through. A nice job of that offensive line. Making a little crease before Eric White and Derek Butler can make the tackle.
That's what they want to do. Pound it in there, get Vic King going. He runs well, Kevin, between the tackles, and he's also got enough burst to get it outside. Offensive line, we talked about the size, 299-pound average for McNeese State against a 257-pound defensive line for the Eagles of Georgia Southern. So should be advantage McNeese State running a big offensive line against his defensive front.
Well, Georgia Southern, they are not big, but what they lack in size, they certainly make up for in speed. They're a very fast defense. Now, play action. Pendarvis with time again. Throws complete. Broadhead. Broadhead made the catch. Were they trying a hook and ladder there?
That's exactly what they were trying. A good job that time throwing it out there. Luke Lawton, he said, hey, Coach, I had that one. They're going to probably look at that again. Good job that time of delivering. Quarterback on the play action pass. Pendarvis throws it out there nicely. Take a look there at the strike. Now look on the left side of your screen over there. That's Luke Lawton. He's coming around the fullback, and he's going to take that one to the house if he can get the pitch off, but a good quick tackle by Stokes doesn't allow him to do that.
First down and 10. Again, Pendarvis and Sam. One-on-one race. Sam at the 15. Touchdown, McNeese. '57-yard touchdown strike. And the Cowboys get on top at home first.
Well, we talked about Sam's Club, and B.J. Sams is certainly an integral part of this offensive football team. You've seen him make tackles, you've seen him return kicks, and you've seen him make the big play in the passing game, coming up with a score for the Cowboys.
Well, John Marino, the all-conference kicker, left footer, boots it through. So McNeese going to the air. 57-yard touchdown pass from Pendarvis to Sam. The Cowboys are on top. Tommy Tate sees his offense go to big strike capabilities and show it.
That's what they do.
57-yard pass.
The play-action pass sets up very nicely. You've got a good quarterback in Pendarvis. Throws a good soft but a long ball to B.J. Sams. B.J.'s running full out, and that ball hits him right in stride. That's exactly what you want to do offensively. Get your big play man involved early, and B.J. Sams is right there to make the play.
Well, who says Scott Pendarvis is not flashy? Put that right on the numbers in stride. Capped a 4-play, 70-yard drive. Didn't take much time off the clock. Adjustments, adjustments, adjustments. Lewis Barr goes back deep. Marino puts a foot into it. Here's Barr from the 7-yard line. Lost the football. Lost it again. Well, McNeese had it and lost it. And who's got it?
Almost caught it on the fly when it came out of there. Went right at the stomach of a McNeese State Cowboy, and there's a pile there.
Going to find out who's got the strongest arms at the bottom of this pile. McNeese.
Kevin, critical errors in the kicking game can cause big plays, and that's certainly an error on the kick return. Give it up, and the Cowboys going to take it over with excellent field position.
DeMonte Ballard came up with it.
Well, he's running right in the middle of the field. You see the cause fumble is a missed tackle, but hits right on the football, and it comes up, and the Cowboys jump on it, and they're knocking again.
DeMonte Ballard finally finished with it. True freshman. See who knocked it out.
With the right side of your screen, you'll see a flyby there. I didn't get the number on the player.
I think it may have been Kyle Ritchie, number 30. Nothing doing there as the Georgia Southern defense steps up.
The defense of Georgia Southern, Kevin, we talked about them not being very large, but they're a 4-3, very disciplined defense. They're going to slant. They're going to use some line stunts to try to counteract the size of McNeese State up front. So when they guess right, they're going to make some plays like they do there in the backfield.
McNeese got on top of the 57-yard touchdown pass, the ensuing kickoff. Georgia Southern turns it over. Then Garvis on the option. Vic King. You're running the option against a defense that practices against it every single day, and they did a pretty nice job cutting that one back.
Sure did. All assignments across the board taken care of. You got the inside dive, then everyone takes, next guy out takes the pitch, man. Take a look on the downside here. Look at number 45. He's doing a good job of closing. It's made a pile, so Pendarvis has to pitch it back to King, who really doesn't have a good angle because the defense has that perimeter one.
Deion Stokes, 21, was the one that really kind of forced it back and held on for dear life while the reinforcements came in. Stokes, a senior from Peachtree City, Georgia. Here come a lot of white jerseys. This one complete to Broadhead. Thought he may have short hopped that one, but Broadhead makes the catch for a short gain. But it's a 4th down, and see what Tommy Tate wants to do.
They're going to trot out the field goal team here, Kevin. Give it a shot. Broadhead in motion coming across. Just going to do the quick little out pattern here, and Pendarvis throws a little low and behind him, but Broadhead adjusts and makes a grab and gives him a chance to get that field goal opportunity just a couple of yards closer.
They have gotten a lot of rain here in this area. Anything, once you get outside the hash marks on this crown field, it's going to be a slippery track. Here's Marino from 42 yards. And he's good. So the Cowboys taking advantage of a Georgia Southern mistake. They put 3 more on the board and lead with 7:34 to go, 10-0. Well, 10-0 McNeese State on top. Georgia Southern, obviously an option team. They like to run the football. What does that mean to an option team to try to get back when they're down like this?
Well, 10 points earned in this football game do mean big for the McNeese State Cowboys. Georgia Southern wants to run the football. Kevin, a year ago, they only threw the ball on average 8 times a game. They played ahead most times in most situations because of the speed on their football team. Playing from behind is something new and different for them, and it's not easy for for a running football team to throw the ball, but they got plenty of time left in this game to get a ground control going.
And take that a step further. We talking with Mike Seawalk this week. Basically, what he said is, we do what we do. This is us. Whether we're ahead or behind, this is pretty much what we're going to do. And so they're not going to change anything, that's for sure.
Well, really, we've only seen 3 offensive plays already from that offense coming out there and 3 running plays, and that's what they hang their hat on. McNeese, their defense, they're solid, so they're going to be aggressive coming up there trying to stop that offensive attack, but don't be surprised if there's some big plays in the running game made by the Georgia Southern Eagles.
Lewis Barr and Carl Kearney back deep. You couldn't kick off any better than that. It'll come out to the 20-yard line.
That's kind of close. Getting it right inside the pylon.
Kind of snuck that one in, so it'll come out to the 20. As Georgia Southern will have the football again. Sellout crowd tonight here in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Nice venue for a football game. Good crowd here. Good atmosphere, Kevin. We got the cowbells right in front of us.
They're going to have to kick this one again.
Talking about the cowbells, they're right in front of us. So we got a group, about 25 cowbells. They're ringing them, ringing them, ringing them.
Cowbells for the Cowboys?
You got it.
Take a look. There it is. You're not supposed to be there, young man. They're at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, is that the hash mark, actually? The guy at the hash, just on top of the 40-yard line there.
So try it again.
Now, can he top that last kick, Kevin?
If he does, he's going to have to kick it 5 yards longer. That's the kind of thing Tommy Tate's not going to be terribly pleased about. It's maybe the overstatement of the night, or the understatement of the night, I should say. So here we go. Now Marino this time hits it high, and Kearney from the 14-yard line. Great athlete is Carl Kearney. He gets out to the 30. 16-yard return, and pretty good field position for Georgia Southern to get started here with the football.
Kearney's one of their wide receivers and probably one of the fastest players, if not the fastest player on that Georgia Southern team, and he's back there returning kicks. Not going to get a lot of passes in their offense to Kearney, but give him a chance to run with the football in the return game.
Drive that point home a little further. He had 15 catches last season. 7 of those came in that semifinal game against Western Kentucky, so nearly half of his season production came in one game.
And he was their leading receiver in 2002 overall, so that's how few times they throw the football.
That said, Williams did throw for over 1,000 yards last year, 1022 to be exact. 9 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions. So hopefully everybody's happy and we're ready to play football here. Finally, we are. I haven't seen much of the Georgia Southern offense. Austin got the corner, penalty marker down, lost the football. I think McNeese has it again. They do. But check the marker. They're waving in from the far side to decline the penalty. So evidently, it must be against Georgia Southern.
Well, this is something when you have fumbles on your offensive football team and you're an option team, that is just a big no-no. Ball control, ball security is something that is most important. When you pull the ball and you pitch the ball and you have to control it, this is going to negate the... Have an offsides against the defense. You're going to see the pitch here, and as he runs around the corner, he gets hit on the inside, and the ball is knocked out. Jermaine Austin loses the handle.
Ryan Garrison, I believe, knocked it loose. Saying you can either have 1st and 5 or keep it where it is. So evidently, Georgia Southern got back on the ball.
Kevin, regardless of who got on it, the penalty over right. Okay,
but
giving him the choice. Yeah, they
gave him the choice of whether
right.
he take a 2nd down and 4 or 1st down and 5. But my point, that's my point, is that Georgia Southern, when the linesman from the far side came in, he was pointing towards McNeese. So obviously there must have been a little more of a scramble, or at least he pointed too early. The 1st down and 5. Georgia Southern dodges a bullet. Davis around the corner. He could be gone. Knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Ashiel Fairchild finally making the stop and saving a touchdown as Kevin Davis takes it for a big gain for Georgia Southern, a pickup of 29 yards.
Jermaine Davis a year ago, 224 yards as a slot runner. He averaged, Kevin, 13 yards a rush. He gets the lane here, the alley, the good blocking and the pitch, and he's got enough speed to get it down the sideline. Hey, Rob Royal inside the linebacker has to make a play here. He gets pushed back from the line of scrimmage and just does not have a good enough angle to get on Kevin Davis, and it's a good play for the Eagles.
A 1st down and 10. Williams saw there wasn't much there. Goes ahead for a gain of about a yard.
With a reverse lead option that time, trying to follow in behind his fullback.
John Paul Jones was right on his back.
One thing when you practice and you prepare for an option team, one of the things you have to do, and this is hard for a team like McNeese State, they have to slow down, Kevin. They've got so much speed on their side of the ball. We talked to their coaching staff, and they all told us, they said, hey, our defense, they're going so fast that we have to turn them down. We have to slow them down, almost put a little rope on them to hold them. The linebackers flow so quickly. That's what Chaz Williams saw there, a hole inside.
Right up the middle, Jermaine Austin, and Austin with good yardage on 2nd down will bring up a 3rd down and short. Roderick Royal there to make the stop for McNeese. He was the first man to get there.
Well, when your middle linebacker makes a play inside, he's got to step up and take on blockers and read really well. Take a look here. Nobody blocks, nobody accounts for the middle linebacker, Rod Royal, number 52, and still they get 2 or 3 yards on the play.
The big play here, 3rd down and 4. Lead option. Well, Royal came in and blew the play up, and it's going to be short of the 1st down. Royal shot through first. He had help too. Kennebrew, John Paul Jones also in there.
He should have just made a sure tackle here instead of the knockout shot. You see Rod Royal come in over the top there. He needs to hit that square in the numbers, but that's hard on a shifty quarterback. Good angle that time. Way to attack the line of scrimmage. That's what you want to see from one of your linebackers, attacking the line of scrimmage. Look at those guns on that guy. I'd say he's got some strength in his upper body. 250-pound middle linebacker, Kevin.
Call it 4th down and 2, and he can fly. Transfer out of Florida. A timeout on 4th down and 2. Chaz Williams will come over and talk it over. The Southern Conference Player of the Year a year ago, an All-American in the truest sense. Coaches can't say enough about this young man. He's really a hard worker and a guy that, pretty much spends a lot of time in that film room, real student of the game, and you may come as no surprise whatsoever. You see this in the media guide where they list their favorite player, and you'll see Michael Jordan and guys like this. Tommy Frazier, how much better of an athlete could you mold yourself after if you run that option than Tommy Frazier, former quarterback at Nebraska?
Well, and he's got a great mentor here. You look at Mike Seawalk, the offensive coordinator and the head coach for that football team, and you got a quarterback with all the ability that Williams has. Seawalk has had success. A couple of years ago, Kevin, the national championship game, just an outstanding effort for that football team. They had a great tailback on that football team as well, so they know how to run the football, and Chaz Williams does a good job to run that offense here this season for the Eagles.
Well, it's 4th down and 2. You got to get the ball inside the 31-yard line. I said the 31. You got to get it inside the 26-yard line.
Yeah, well, this is Georgia Southern football. They like to run the ball. They run that option. They're going to stick with what brung them here. No passes in this game so far by Georgia Southern.
Option. Should be enough for the 1st down. Depends on the spot. No.
They got knocked out.
Steps out of bounds. Well, Mike Seawalt is livid on the near sideline. He didn't like the spot. Hard for us to see on this near sideline all the Georgia Southern players right up there against where the play came to the boundary.
Watch the pursuit by the Cowboys. He did. He stepped out. You saw his 2 feet there in the coach's area on the sideline. So if his feet are there, he did not make the 1st down. You see on the outside, little hit there on the outside. His foot goes out. You watch it right there and did not get to the 1st down marker.
Great job by Keith Smith of forcing that issue outside. Scott Pendarvis brings his troops back out. What a night it has been for Pendarvis. Play action. Pendarvis wants to throw again. Throws downfield, incomplete. Should have held on to the football and ran with it because he threw it right to Lewis Barr, the defensive back who couldn't hold on.
Well, you saw what I saw, Kevin. Good job on the play action. A good job by Pendarvis stepping up. You're going to see a lane open up here. It's going to be super wide, and Pendarvis sees it here, too. He needs to run that football straight down the field. He throws a bad ball in front of Britt Broadhead and almost was intercepted.
There you see Lewis Barr, sophomore from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 2nd down and 10. A little bit under 5 minutes left in the 1st quarter. Vic King racing to the 31-yard line. Gain of 4 yards. 3rd down and 6 to come.
I like that play. It's a quick hitter inside. Not a whole lot of nothing really fancy. Just have your tailback come real close to the quarterback. Watch him here. It's a quick hitter right in the middle of the field, and he just reads and cuts it all the way back against the grain. You got the fake that's going to hold the secondary coming around with B.J. Sams. You have to honor him. That's a good little easy play for the Cowboys in their offense.
Young and Keys making the stop for Georgia Southern. 3rd down, call it 5. Pendarvis, ball may have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. Did Broadhead make the catch? 2 officials looking at each other. He did. It's a first nope, and the 3rd official comes in.
Well, Britt Broadhead, if he catches this football, it's all hands because he stretched his hands out to catch the football.
Well, the umpire came all the way out.
Well, he was looking from the middle of the field out, and he may have had the best angle at looking at it. The umpire's going to be in here where I'm drawing the screen, and he looks outside, and Broadhead, he brings the ball into his body. The Georgia Southern players on this side of the field are blocking our view from it, but Britt Broadhead thinks he has it. Let's take a closer look. You see the hands extended. He brings it out, and that's a good call. I saw it hit the ground just as he pulled it in, and that umpire earned his pay on that one.
I think Eric Hadley may have gotten a hand on it as well as the line of scrimmage. Lewis Barr calling for the fair catch. He's going to pick it up and run with it. Why not? It's a good reason why he shouldn't have. Well, he saved the roll, but you take that chance as well. Terry Griffin down on the coverage for McNeese. 1st and 10. We've got a penalty marker down, though. Yeah, there's a good point here. Lewis Barr, watch what he did. If we see this, he called for the fair catch and picked up the football.
Well, when the ball hits the ground, the fair catch is off, so he really could pick up the football or should pick up this flag. He calls a fair catch, gets away. Once the ball hits the ground, he can do it. It's at risk. I've always thought that it was all with if you called for the fair catch and then you ran with it after the catch, that it was the penalty. Not if it hits the ground. If it hits the ground, it negates that fair catch. Was always my interpretation of it.
A 37-yard punt will back it up even further. So Georgia Southern with a little further to go. Try to get the offense cranked up again.
Well, they've got some players in that offense, and they run it very well. Those slot backs coming across are able to make that big play with their speed in that pitch.
The biggest play of the night is a 29-yarder by Davis. Right up the middle, Jermaine Austin. He ran right into the belly of John Paul Jones. Not a good thing if you want to pick up real estate. It'll be 2nd down and long.
Big John Paul doing a good job up front for the Cowboys. He's one of the leaders up there, just a sophomore. He's an All-Southland Conference player a year ago and good run stopper up front.
Second down and 8. Again, right up the middle with Austin. And again, another 3-yard gain. What happened here? On the near sideline, away from the ball, way away from the ball, I believe a defensive back and a wide receiver got into it, and they ended up spilling over into the Georgia Southern bench area. It was a Shield Fairchild, and the wide receiver out there, the play was 35 yards away.
Well, if you're a Shield Fairchild, you don't want to be in the Georgia Southern bench. There's more white shirts than blue shirts. But he's doing his job. He's got to cover that man to man, and took him on the sideline.
Big 3rd down. 1st down and more. Inside McNeese territory. As T.J. Anderson with his 1st carry of the game, and he makes it good.
The other slot back in that offense now coming to the near sideline on the pitch. Chaz Williams going to read it down the line. Watch him pitch it late in the alley. They got blockers in front. Fairchild misses the tackle on that play, and he's around the corner.
Gain of 19. You see why Georgia Southern is so successful. You may bottle them up for a couple of plays, for a couple of series, but they're going to bust one on you sooner or later like we've seen them do today.
Well, it has 3 options on that play, actually 4, and they took it all the way to the outside.
Yes, talking with the people at McNeese, but watching on film what they see, if anything's changed since Mike Seawalk. He said, anything changed since Mike Seawalk took over this offense here in his 2nd season. They said nothing's changed since Irk Russell ran this offense some 20 years ago. So if it's not broke, why fix it?
Well, by running it year in, year out, they develop consistency, and they put players in there that are capable of working this offense, and they're doing it very well. There's a pass.
First one of the night. This is what you got to watch out for. What a catch. Kevin Davis making like Willie Mays, taking that one over the shoulder, and he's inside the 30-yard line to the 29.
Lull you to sleep with the inside belly, the option play, then they play action pass. Good job that time by Chaz Williams. The fake inside of Jermaine Austin and hit Davis over the top. Nice soft touch pass to the outside and excellent concentration catching that football. Well, that's just a pretty play.
Well, Stephen Barrett had the coverage. Well, 1st down. A nice gain for Georgia Southern. Now right back up the middle is Jermaine Austin. 5'8", 200-pound sophomore. He's from Darien, Georgia. Ryan Garrison making the tackle. Southern Conference Player of the Week after going for 106 yards against Savannah State. Scored his 8th career time in which he has had 100 yards in a game.
Kevin, as a freshman a year ago, averaged over 100 yards a game, 101 yards per game, and been very productive here for the Southern Eagles.
A little more than 1,400 yards in his freshman campaign. Once again, the option ran right into Roderick Royal to Chaz Williams. Royal was there waiting for him. Royal, 6'1", 245 pounds. He's a senior. As I said, he transferred from Florida. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Look at the hit the fullback takes. I tell you, Jermaine Austin takes a pop, and
Gerald Zeno.
Chaz Williams comes around. These Cowboys are sticking it up in there, and when you're a fullback in this offense, you're going to take a pound in every single play because someone is responsible for that dive back.
So 3rd down and 3. Anderson, 1st down and more. Down near the 10-yard line.
Well, when you're going to run the down-the-line option with a pitch coming across, you need to have some guys that can block on the outside, and that's what Georgia Southern is doing, and they're doing very well. They're able to block the outside. Watch the perimeter blockers here. You're going to have lead blocks coming around because the pitch is coming here. You're going to see him come around. Good job, and Chaz Williams pitches it out. Now watch it, hold it there. See the block there and the block and block. If he hits this seam, it's a touchdown, but he takes it inside. Georgia Southern is finding a way to work against these Cowboys.
So 1st down and 10 from the 13-yard line. Under a minute to go in the first quarter. Chaz Williams down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. John Paul Jones again. He'll be in double figures with tackles at the rate he's going right now. First team all-conference performer. Led the defensive line in tackles in 2002, and he's leading the team tonight.
Well, McNeese State jumps out to a 10-0 lead here, Kevin, in this first quarter, but Georgia Southern doesn't faze them a bit. They just run their offense, stay within their game plan. Now they're knocking on the door at the 9-yard line.
Second down and 6. Lost the football. Williams got on it, lost it. McNeese has it.
When you're a quarterback in this offense, you have to have ball control, ball security. I think Chaz Williams tries to get a little bit too cute with this play, pulls it in, wants to pitch it with his left hand, decides to pitch it with his right. You're going to see a fumble here. Roy Ferris comes up with the football, does a good job of getting it for the Cowboys. Quarterback, watch him come down the line of scrimmage here. He's going to fake, going to try to pitch with his left, tries to bring it back to his right hand, doesn't do it, and Ferris is there to make the play.
5 turnovers killed Georgia Southern, or didn't kill them, but that was against Savannah State. Still, they committed 5 turnovers a week ago and doing the same tonight. Already with 2 here in this first quarter. Vic King. And King breaks it out to the 20-yard line on the final play of the first quarter. So a great-looking drive for Georgia Southern goes all for naught as they turn the football over deep inside McNeese State territory. Now, can the Georgia Southern defense try to hold McNeese? Cowboys on top after an entertaining first quarter of play. 10-0 as Georgia Southern has some catching up to do. Well, McNeese puts 10 on the board in the first quarter. They lead at 10-0. Georgia Southern with a really good-looking drive that kind of comes to a screeching halt when you lay it on the ground. And that's what they did for the second time in this ballgame. 2 turnovers in the first quarter of play for Georgia Southern after turning it over 5 times last week.
Well, too good a football team to do that against McNeese. McNeese at home with this crowd getting into it, and it seems like things are clicking well for them offensively.
Here's Lawton right up the middle. And Luke Lawton, you hear the crowd, not boos, they're lose for Luke out the 25-yard line. And Luke Lawton, don't let the 250-pound frame fool you. He is a big play fullback.
When I talked to Mike Seawalk, the offensive coordinator and head coach of Georgia Southern, the one player that said stuck out in his mind was Luke Lawton. He said he breaks tackles, he makes that pass reception in the flat where they run that play action pass for him, and he is a big impact player for that offense.
He really did. He said he's the key to the game. He said he's the guy that you never really think about. They lull you to sleep, and he will just absolutely break your back with a big run. He weighs 250 pounds, but he's got great speed. True NFL prospect.
Kind of reminds me of Mike Allstott when Mike was in college at Purdue. He's not as tall as Mike, but he certainly has the build, and he's got that lean, that body lean, and he's got good soft hands for a big fullback.
Yeah, he can catch a football very well and decent speed.
20 career touchdowns here for the Cowboys, so they've asked a lot of him, and he has certainly delivered.
King trying to go to the short side, now cutting it back out to the 30-yard line. Nifty little 7-yard run for Vic King as James Burchett makes the stop, making it an 11-yard pickup.
Bringing the 3-wide package, make your defense adjust and run the ball. That's exactly what McNeese did that time. 3 receivers to the top of the field and pitch it here to the short side. And just read the blockers. Vic King sets them up very nicely. See here, he's going to pitch it weak. You got your guard pulling around there. That's Dwight Hudler, one of the best in the conference. And he's a big guy to get behind. And Vic King showing he can find that crease.
There's King again. Tough sledding up inside. And that's the thing you got to like about King is big enough and strong enough to run the football up the middle, but yet fast enough to break it on the outside. As you take a look at the numbers for Vic King tonight, 8 carries, 34 yards. Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year last year. Hurt an ankle and couldn't play in the championship game. A huge disappointment for him.
A short yardage here. I wouldn't be surprised to give it to Lawton.
And they do. Lawton should have the first down. Derek Butler, middle linebacker. Well, we talked with Mike Seawalk, talking about this spread formation that you're going to see tonight.
And that big fullback.
Like formation, they get you spread out, and they got a huge offensive line. The belly's a good player for him, and then that fullback is a good leader for him. I think he makes them go. I think he's a great compliment to Vic King. He really is someone that we're concerned about defensively, because after he's the same type of person we're looking for. He's a great blocker, and then all of a sudden you let him go ahead and you try to avoid the block, and next thing you know, they're throwing the little flare pass out to the fullback in flat, and he's standing there all by himself.
Got a lot of issues to deal with when you're defending this McNeese State offense. And Darvis, good time, throwing up top for Turner, has it. Trying to fight his way to the end zone down at the 9-yard line. Marcus Turner beat A.K. Keys. Gain of 57 yards.
What a throw by this quarterback, Scott Pendarvis, over the top with the play action. Does it earlier in the game to B.J. Sams, but this time getting out there to number 1, doing a good job, throwing it all the way on top, and Keys cannot hang with him. I tell you, look at the fight. Excellent job that time, getting the ball out there, and I tell you, Marcus Turner makes a huge play for the Cowboys.
Well, just ran right underneath it. Pendarvis has been nothing short of spectacular tonight. Handoff right up the middle. Not a whole lot there. Is Eric Hadley there to make the stop. Pendarvis, 6 out of 8, 147 yards. Had the big 57-yard touchdown pass earlier to B.J. Sams, and hooks up big for a 55-yarder to Marcus Turner.
Well, with this McNeese offense, Kevin, they like to run it 60% of the time and throw it 40% of the time. Just get that good balance. But that play-action passing game gives you the ability to make big plays, and they've had a couple of them here this evening.
Lawton and King in the backfield. Play action. Throwing for the back of the end zone, a little too tall for Sams.
That's the only place that Pendarvis could throw that one all the way to the back, because they took Lawton out of the play at the fullback position coming out of the backfield, and B.J. was on the back line, but the ball just sailed.
And Eric Hadley was putting plenty of pressure on Pendarvis.
See your fullback coming out here. He's taken away short, so Pendarvis with pressure has to throw it away.
So now 3rd down and 7. Well, Georgia Southern can hold McNeese to a field goal here. Call that mission accomplished for the defense.
Going to call a timeout here to get things squared away.
Well, their 2nd timeout of the half. So we're going to take a timeout as Tommy Tate and Scott Pendarvis will talk it over. 12:02 to go. McNeese on top by 10. .12:02 to go in the first half, and McNeese leads it 10-0. Pendarvis either didn't like the formation or didn't like the personnel for what he had called the huddle. He calls the timeout on 3rd down and 7. Or is it 3rd down and goal? I beg your pardon. 3rd down and goal from the 7-yard line. Here comes a blitz. Pendarvis had to get rid of it in a hurry. Here's Deshaun Jude coming off that edge. A junior from Atlanta. He was coming in a hurry, and he almost got to Pendarvis.
Well, they want to make him throw it on time, and I tell you, if he looks inside here, you're going to see a number 2 receiver come through there. He's wide open, but the pressure in his face, he's going to try to throw it out to Vic King, his outlet pass. Give him a little bit more time, and that might have been a touchdown.
Marino looking for his second field goal of the night. This one a 24-yard attempt. He's already been good from 42. And he is good. So the Cowboys convert that 57-yard pass into 3 points. The field goal makes it 13-0. Georgia Southern will have the ball when we come back. Cowboys are riding high right now here in the second quarter. 12:01 to go. 13-0 with Gary Reasons. I'm Kevin Eschenfelder. Good to have you with us from Lake Charles, Louisiana. The 10-play scoring drive. Big play of this. 57-yard hookup from Marcus Turner and Scott Pendarvis. Pendarvis has been great tonight for McNeese at the quarterback spot. Georgia Southern has put together a couple of drives, but turnovers have really hurt them in this game. John Marino set to kick it away. Barr back deep. Barr from the 1. Slipped down. Well, he took a big divot out at the 18-yard line. He goes down at the 20. And that is where Georgia Southern will send the offensive unit onto the field.
You said it, Kevin. This Georgia Southern offense has gotten down the field pretty well. They've moved the ball, but the fumbles, uncharacteristic of a good option team. They want to maintain ball control and ball security. That's just something that really hurts a good football team, especially playing against one here at home. You play against the Cowboys, and they take advantage of those miscues.
Straight drop for Chaz Williams. Going up top. And incomplete. Cedric Lars with the coverage. Well, the folks from Georgia Southern think he got there maybe a touch too early, but not the case. It's 2nd down and 10. We'll see.
See Lars right back here does a good job from the free safety spot. He's just going to wait for the pass, and he's got good position. He goes up for the football. That's not interference.
Was there contact?
He's going to try to make a play on the ball, and he's going up for it. He doesn't interfere with the receiver. That's a good play in the secondary.
I don't know. From the 20. Second down and 10. Wow, fake the pitch, and goodness gracious. Tyree Broden. Woo. My.
Tyree Broden had a lot of action a week ago. 13 tackles against Kansas State, and shows why he can make some tackles. Comes down the line of scrimmage and waits for the quarterback to turn up into the hole, and this is a pretty good pop.
Tyree was huge last week against K-State. Coming up with a big hit there. So 3rd down and 7. Again, Williams to throw. Good protection going up top for Kearney. Had it and dropped it. Hit him right between the 8 and the O. You couldn't have thrown that football any better. He had a step on Chris White, and that was all.
You're right. He had a step on Chris White. Chris tries to knock the ball away. He's in the underneath position. Chaz Williams shows, hey, I can do a little drop back pass action myself. Good soft touch. Throws the ball up there nicely. Chris White misses it. And boy, that ball is in there to Kearney, but he just can't pull it in. Watch the delivery. It's right there. And maybe that hand that got into his face, that distraction by White, was enough to cause him to drop that football.
The Sams go back deep to receive the punt. Holland may have hit this one off the side of his foot. Sams took it and went down immediately. Good coverage for Georgia Southern as they had plenty of men down. Terrence McBride there to make the stop. So McNeese has the football back, leading by 13. A couple of field goals by John Marino and a touchdown pass by Scott Pendarvis has McNeese on top A score of 13-0, and they have the football. Look at the numbers on Pendarvis. Has missed on 4 of his last 5 passes, but the one he did hit on was a 57-yarder to Marcus Turner. So now it's Ryan Corcoran's turn. Tommy Tate basically told us that's the way they're going to do it. Vic King rambling for a gain of 8.
Scott Pendarvis was certainly hot, Kevin, throwing the ball and throwing it well, but they told us that Ryan Corcoran was going to play, and he probably wanted to get into the first series of the second quarter, but they let Pendarvis go, and he continued the hot streak. But this senior quarterback getting a chance to play in this football game.
He's from right here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Much more of a prototypical drop-back guy. Very strong-armed quarterback. Handed to Lawton, and Lawton has the first down. Should be very near it as he gets to the 40-yard line.
Well, when you've got a big offensive line and you want to run the football, which McNeese State likes to do, hey, that's a big advantage for you. Dwight Huller, number 65 up front, Cody LeBlanc, number 74, leading the way on the left side. Those two players are two of the best in the conference, and they get a lot of push from that side of the line. So watch the Cowboys here run on the left side tonight.
Corcoran guns this one, incomplete. Great coverage by Aaron Whitaker, junior from Silver Springs, Maryland, as he was up there, got a hand in the basket in a hurry.
Corcoran showing that he does have a pretty strong arm, Kevin. Just strong arms this ball in there off the play-action pass, trying to get it to B.J. Sams. Not much pressure in his face, but good job, like you said, come back making a play that time, and Whitaker breaks up the nice pass.
Oh, second down at 10. And Corcoran will go from the shotgun. Quarterback draw. Tried to cut it outside, not a whole lot there, but he'd have lost a couple if he had stayed on the inside, because Derek Butler was in there and had a lot of help from those other white jerseys as the Georgia Southern defense tried to make a stand here.
They're a basic 4-3 defense. They're going to play within themselves. They're not going to try to be real fancy blitz or scheme a lot to get in the backfield, but they do run down the line of scrimmage very well. They've got enough speed to take away a quarterback option play. See, the defensive coach is calling the play in there, a little hammer technique. Yeah, you got to get the hammer on that one.
Rusty Russell. Corcoran got it complete. Britt Broadhead, penalty marker comes in.
Probably going to be incidental face mask.
I believe so.
Had control of Britt Broadhead as they're trying to bring him to the ground, and when he sling him around like that, most times they're going to see that face mask.
Deion Stokes was a man in coverage. It's a gain of 22 if it stands. These men have been busy tonight.
Yeah, maybe a little contact before the pass too, Kevin, instead of the face mask.
Well, Buddy Gingrich, your referee tonight.
We'll take a look here as Ryan Corcoran delivers the ball on time, and a good throw that time. I didn't see the hold. It might have been before that. Nonetheless, the throw and catch is going to count for the Cowboys.
That's a gain of 22, so first down and 10 from the 25-yard line. Ryan Corcoran has run this team down smartly here. Down to the 6-yard line is Vic King. A gain of 19 yards after the 22-yard pass play.
Well, when you want to set up a run, you want to get in behind your offensive line, and Vic King does a nice job of reading the blocks, getting in the crease that he finds on that offensive line. And you see his numbers on the night, pretty impressive for Vic King, getting established and established well. See here, a little counter action. Get in behind the big offensive guard for him to see the seam in the middle. Good vision that time by Vic King, find an opening, and Whitaker's forced to bring him down.
Over 2,000 career yards for Vic King as he went over that plateau tonight on his first carry. King pitching it outside, trying to cut it back. And not much there. The Georgia Southern defense steps up and steps into the gaps, and they block things up. But it's been pretty much all McNeese in this one tonight as they lead at 13-0, looking for more.
Well, when you just establish control in the line of scrimmage, which McNeese has, they're able to run the football, pound it in there. It sets up that play-action game. McNeese is hard to beat, Kevin.
So Derek Butler is been outstanding on the Georgia Southern defense tonight. The middle linebacker. Second down, goal. Play action. Going up top. Intercepted. James Young. His first interception of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time for the Georgia Southern defense.
Yeah, led his team a year ago with 3 interceptions. This free safety, we talked about him at the beginning of the show, that he's a big impact player. Does a good job in the secondary. He's just going to read Corcoran here. He's trying to throw the ball to the outside and just jumps in front of the pass. And Ryan Corcoran probably shouldn't have thrown that ball with the safety so close to the receiver.
So now let's see if Georgia Southern can take advantage of McNeese's first turnover of the evening. They play the option well. There's not a whole lot out there as T.J. Anderson took the pitch, and he took it in the sea of blue jerseys.
You know, Kevin, this defense from McNeese State, they played against an option team in Henderson State a couple weeks ago. They know how to play against that. They play against Nichols State in their own conference, in the Southland Conference, and Nichols runs a very similar offense, a little more midline option than Georgia Southern does. But they have a couple of teams that they play on their schedule each year so that they're able to play conference ball against Nichols.
Got the corner and the first down, and finally run out of bounds is T.J. Anderson. As Rod Gully was there to make the stop, but another big gainer for Georgia Southern. I say they get the offense to continue to click.
Timing was certainly there for that play. You see, they win the corner, they get the blocks on the outside, and then Chaz Williams with a pitch outside, and Anderson just runs through the arm tackle of Keith Smith on the corner and gets some extra yardage.
Folks made the trip over from Statesboro. Like that play. Open for more. Right up the middle, Jermaine Austin fighting his way out near the 49-yard line.
They're happy with that play. Inside, pounded out. All the expenses out there and trying to make it their house, huh?
Both of these teams have really dominated their home field, as you might expect. Georgia Southern there in Statesboro, and McNeese here in Cowboy Country in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Good Gully came up.
Yeah. We talked about Rod Gully from the safety position coming up and playing that alley position, and that's exactly what Rod Gully does there. Makes a nice open field tackle on the pitch. Chaz Williams running down the line of scrimmage. And
look at this so far. 4 possessions ended in a punt. Went out for turned it over on downs, and fumble, a punt. This one right here, 4-play drive. So far 31 yards. They are at a 3rd down and about 1.5 yards for the first down. It's Georgia Southern in McNeese territory at the 49-yard line. Austin up the middle has the first down, fighting down to the 45-yard line. Problem for Georgia Southern has not been moving the football tonight. It's been holding on to it.
This offensive line for Georgia Southern doing what they do best now. That's scramble block. They're getting up on those defensive linemen and pushing them. And take a look at the offensive line, how they're leaning downhill, and they push that pile. They see them all going into the McNeese State defense, and good job of blocking. That's the execution Georgia Southern would like to see.
Tough sledding for Jermaine Austin tonight. Williams, about as well as you can play the option right there.
Well, he pulled it on didn't pitch it inside. Rod Royal there from his linebacker spot, scraping and taking the quarterback. Take a look here, Rod Royal coming down. He's going to hit Chaz Williams, bingo, right there, and nothing going there.
They want to get it out of the hands of the quarterback first. Just take a look at Roderick Royal. 3 All-American teams, I should say, from a year ago. Again, transfer from Florida. Newcomer of the year last year. On the watch list for the Buck Buchanan Award. Goes to the nation's top player in 1AA. Williams gets out of trouble, throws downfield, and caught, but a penalty marker comes in late. Eric Irby backup wide receiver made the catch. Check the marker. You make an interference call.
It is. Rod Gully put his hand in the back of him as Chaz Williams rolls out here. Everything breaks down because of pressure up front by McNeese, but Chaz Williams shows that he's got a lot of presence. Good job throwing the ball inside. Rod Gully, before he made the catch, put his hand in his back, and they're going to take the play.
Not a 12-yard gain. So the Eagles on the march. At 32. Trailing 13-0. And down to 4.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Jermaine Austin up the middle. Well, he hits the hole about as quick as you'll see when someone hit it. Pushes the pile for a gain of 4 to 5 yards.
And when Chaz Williams comes to the line of scrimmage, Kevin, he's reading the McNeese State defense, trying to decide which way he's going to take that option, and he's calling it at the line of scrimmage. There's some hand signals I see from the offensive lineman key and the receivers to the outside to let them know which way that option is coming. So Chaz Williams is taking a look at McNeese on defense to see where he wants to bring that football.
2nd down and 6 after the gain of 4. To Austin again. Nothing fancy about it, but they see something on the inside. 3rd down coming up. Once again, the interior of that line, Tim Kennebrew there to make the stop. Junior from Newton, Texas.
Now watch right here at the top of the screen. Again, block right inside. Good job that time by Austin. Feeding inside, and Jermaine does a nice job getting his pads low inside on that defense.
So 3rd down and 2. Georgia Southern trying to continue the drive. It's lost the football, and McNeese has it. Lawrence Darby, the left corner, came up with the ball, and for the 3rd time tonight, Georgia Southern turns the football over.
Lawrence Darby, the cornerback, comes up with a big hit, Kevin, and he's the one that knocks the ball out for the Cowboys. Kind of a late pitch here by the quarterback, getting it outside. You're going to see him come down the line of scrimmage. Chaz Williams pitches it late, and bingo! Ball comes out, and the Cowboys recover.
Stephen Barrett came up with it.
Watch him run downhill, go to the backfield. Carney doesn't get a hand on him on the block, and he just lets a corner blitz that time, and he takes away the play.
Pendarvis back in at quarterback. He faked the reverse. Instead handed to Vic King right up the gut to the 29-yard line. Well, absolutely killer turnovers for Georgia Southern in this first half.
Well, a lot of that is aggressive play by McNeese State on defense. They've done a good job pressuring the ball and taking a couple of chances. That was a 3rd and short situation. They bring the corner on the blitz. Doesn't have to account for the outside receiver, and he makes the play in the backfield. That's kind of a gamble.
Broadhead on the end around. Cut it up. Maybe a gain of a couple. Shot through there quick to Sean Jude, and Victor Cabral there to make the tackle. So 3rd down and 6. 2.5 to go in the first half. Pendarvis 3-step drop. Wanted to tuck it and run, but he's drugged down by Eric Hadley. It'll be punt time for McNeese.
Yeah, but that was a smart play by Pendarvis. Good coverage in the secondary by Georgia Southern. Instead of throwing the ball out there in coverage and make something bad happen, he runs it inside, and it's okay that he's tackled because they're going to have a chance now to go out there and punt the football and play that field position game. So when a quarterback doesn't throw the ball, sometimes it's not a bad thing.
Well, Georgia Southern will call a timeout. 2:07 to go. Tommy Tate.
You talk about the quarterback position with McNeese State, and you know that's a position that they want here. They want them to be. They don't have to win the football game. They want to be able to run the ball. They want to be serviceable on their play-action passing game. Scott Pendarvis has done a good job for them tonight, and don't make mistakes. And by not throwing the ball out in coverage on the outside, he certainly didn't throw and have any problems there. And it's okay to go out there and 4th down and punt sometimes.
What do you think Tommy Tate did not look like a pleased head coach when he was talking with his quarterback right there. You say he made a good play. Something we couldn't see that he was upset about?
Probably something that happened in the play call because there was not anybody open. The defense did a good job of coverage on that play. Tommy, he'll probably look at that play on tape and say, hey, the defense did a good job. Scott probably did the right thing in running that ball inside and not making a mistake.
Well, Mike Seawalk, be nice to see his offense put some points on the board instead of putting the ball on the ground here in this first half. It is punt time for McNeese. Jason Cook will punt it away. Keep in mind, Georgia Southern blocked 2 punts last week. Almost got to that one. Wow. So Ivan Stevenson took the blocked punt, or did he get a hand on it?
I think it went off the end of his foot. I don't think it was partially blocked. It just went off the end of it. Take a look here at the end of the play. See on the left side of the screen coming across. Does a hand get on that ball? Sure does.
Well, that was just a weird play. Kevin Anderson is who came through, number 20, Kevin Anderson. So I guess it was blocked. So 3 blocked punts in 2 games for Georgia Southern.
Tommy's talking about he's taking too long and too deliberate with that punt motion. He needs to get that ball out of there and get out a lot quicker.
Chaz Williams dumping this one away, and it's knocked down. I believe Roderick Royal or John Paul Jones got a hand on the football.
Yeah, I think Rod Royal scraping from his linebacker spot coming around. He's accountable for that quarterback continuing to make plays on him in the running game, and so he's also covering him in the passing game, flushing him out and making sure he doesn't have a clean lane to throw the football, and I think he tipped that ball away.
So 2nd down and 10.
This is a big series here for Georgia Southern. They've got the ball in McNeese territory after the partially blocked punt. They've got to put something on the board.
Lead option. Austin steps through. And to the 24-yard line. That quickly Jermaine Austin, when he gets a little seam, he doesn't need much room to make good things happen. And he steps it through for a big gain of 15 yards.
Little different wrinkle. Down the line option to Jermaine Austin as the pitch man. Instead of diving him inside like they've done all night, they take him down the line of scrimmage and pitch it to him, and shows he's got the ability on the corner as well.
Stepped out of bounds at the 16. So it's 1st down and 10 from there. 52 yards rushing tonight for Jermaine Austin as Chaz Williams looks over the defense. Straight roll.
Guess who?
Williams to the 21-yard line. Reminder coming up at halftime. We'll send you back to the studio. Bill Jones, John Berger will be in studio. They'll take you all around the country, let you know what's going on in college football. They'll take a look at what Arkansas, the SEC, putting it on the Big 12 today. And more from the Southland Conference. It's all coming up at halftime here on Fox Sports Net. That was for Kearney. Incomplete. Ashiel Fairchild with the quarterback pressure.
No doubt about it. Fairchild with a corner pressure that time coming from the outside on Chaz Williams, making him throw it a little bit before he would like to. Tommy Tate would like to see his defense rally here on this series and not allow him to get a touchdown and at least hold him to a field goal try.
So from the 22, 3rd down and 6. And Williams will call a timeout with 1:09 to go.
Boy, they packed the line of scrimmage that time, Kevin. They had man coverage on the outside and 9 players around the line of scrimmage. And Chaz Williams didn't like what he saw, so he calls a timeout. Had plenty of time on the play clock. It wasn't something where he couldn't make an adjustment up there, but certainly felt like they weren't in the best situation for that play.
Now, this Georgia Southern program, 6 straight conference titles. 5 straight years they've gone at least to the semifinals in the postseason. Of course, 6 national titles that we talked about over the years. Without question, really the standard bearer in 1AA football is Georgia Southern, the way they have put this program together.
Consistency, Kevin, of what they've done defensively and more importantly offensively. Mike Seawalk, the offensive coordinator there for 4 years prior to becoming the head coach the last couple of seasons. And, you know, he has been consistent, so there's not a lot of change out there. You said it earlier, they've been running that offense for a long, long time, and when you're able to do that, there's players that buy into the program. They look for a specific type of player to put in that offensive system, and they're able to get some things accomplished.
High rent district right there. Look what they've done since 1982. No one in 1AA has been better. Only Nebraska, Florida State, and Miami in Division I have been better. Third down and 6. Jermaine Austin with the first down to the 12-yard line. As Chris White makes the stop and may have saved a touchdown.
You bring it down the line of scrimmage here, and you've got to tackle. If you miss tackles in this situation, it's going to be a touchdown. You see the missed tackle there. Good job of coming off late on the outside, and otherwise Austin's going to take that one in for a touchdown.
So first down and 10. Williams almost stopped like thought the play would have been whistled dead.
He sure did. Boy, that was dangerous there, and really set himself up for, he was trying to get something happening. He thought he was going to have a whistle blow, and take a look at his demeanor here.
Yeah, he just
stops. Okay, this is like, okay, bingo, and then Rod Royal really could have undressed him there, but he brought him down fairly nicely.
I think Royal even pulled up thinking, surely a whistle must have blown because the quarterback is pretty much stopping.
Well, we're right here by the cowbell section. Now, I hear a lot of cowbells. I certainly didn't hear a whistle, though. Mike Seawalk's telling him, hey, young man, you just continue to run the play. That's something you have to do, and let the officials sort things out. Still a key play here for them, and a good series if they can put something on the board against this McNeese defense going in at halftime.
So here they go. Third down, 10 from the 19. Throw it back, throw in, incomplete.
Line Rod Royal up on the outside on the top of the screen, and Rod Royal shows that he's got good speed, about 4'5", 4'6" in the 40, 250-pound linebacker. Watch him come right back here and take a load off of Chaz Williams, and that's twice now he's hit him without anybody even touching him, unimpeded to the quarterback. Trying to get the sprint roll away, but Rod Royal showing, hey, I've got enough speed to get back there, and he's had a busy night.
His first sack of the night. Now Sean Holland will try for only his second career field goal. And he is good for the first time since 2001 season. Sean Holland has kicked the field goal. He's good from 36 yards out. And most importantly, Georgia Southern gets on the board for a first half that pretty much has been dominated, at least as far as scoring is concerned, by McNeese. Georgia Southern may be able to go into the locker room with a much better taste in their mouths at this point.
I think McNeese State's defense really came out very well prepared for the spread option offensive attack by Georgia Southern. Done a good job throughout most of the night, but good opportunity there by Georgia Southern, capitalizing on the partially blocked punt with good field position. Take it down about 25, 30 yards, and then put points on the board. And they want to get some momentum as they come out for the second half, and those 3 points will certainly go a long way towards that.
24 seconds remaining. Georgia Southern, a team picked to win their conference ahead of Furman, Appalachian State. They've got some tough games this season. They have to go to Appalachian State. They have Furman at home. Now, that's something to worry about next week because they play Wofford. They have to go to Wofford to play that game. And that's a team that beat them a year ago. 9-play, 22-yard scoring drive. All set up by the blocked punt. Kevin Anderson came through, got a hand on it. We're 24 seconds away from the intermission.
Be surprised if they kick this ball up in the air. Probably going to kick it on the ground in the middle of the field and let it bounce around so it breaks up the timing of McNeese State on this kickoff return.
They kick it deep. And good return yardage out to the 34-yard line. So they went ahead, kicked it deep. Henry Smith brought it back, a good return. And McNeese will have 18 seconds to work with to the 13-3 lead.
Scott Pendarvis, Kevin, had, I think, an excellent first half running this offense, throwing the ball well, especially deep with his touch. The play-action passing game was working well for him early in this game, and pretty impressed with how well he's performed.
So Pendarvis takes a knee. So the Cowboys have been big plays in this first half. They've used those big plays, able to lead it 13-3, taking advantage of some Georgia Southern's mistakes, particularly the turnovers. Mike Sewak, the bad news, they've turned it over 3 times. The good news, very much in this football game as Georgia Southern trails it by just 10 at the break. We're going to take a break. We'll take it to our Fox Sports Net studios when we come back. McNeese stayed on top by a score of 13-3 as the number 3 team in the nation leading the number 2 team in the nation. Kevin Eschenfelder, Gary Reasons, welcome you back upstairs. And Georgia Southern, you can point to just one thing as far as they're concerned in this first half, and that's turning the football over.
Ball security is important, especially for an option football team. When you put it on the ground, it just gives a team like McNeese State, who's very talented, playing here at home in front of their crowd, a chance to put some points on the board, and that's exactly what happened in the first half, Kevin. Miscues turned into opportunities and points for McNeese.
Well, you know, they talked about Luke Lawton, Vic King being keys to this McNeese offense, but so far, Scott Pendarvis has been the key here in this first half, and he hooked up big time, 57 yards to B.J. Sands to get the scoring started.
Well, they got things rolling there. B.J. Sands showing that he's a capable player, making a big play for this football team. And things, the miscues we talked about, the fumbles on the ground, McNeese State being very opportunistic, finding that football and then putting their field goal kicker out there and putting points on the board. That's exactly what they did there on that first fumble. And now the other one here as Georgia Southern is right in the red area. The defense comes up big again with the defensive play, and then the field goal again going up 13 here in this first half.
So you turn the ball over 3 times in a half of football, and you're only down by 10 points. I think Georgia Southern has to be very pleased with that. Obviously, they'd like to be up by 10, but knowing that they turned it over 3 times in the first half, and they are just 2 scores away, they got to be happy with that.
They are going to be happy with their play, but I tell you, they're playing a defense that's very inspired, and their linebacker, Rod Royal, number 52, is doing an excellent job tonight scraping and making plays. Rod Royal has come up big all over the field. We talked about at the top of the show. He plays well inside. He's able to rush the quarterback as well and make plays. Rod Royal has been a player all over the field for McNeese, and he is someone they have to contend with. They've got to find a way to slow him down. You know, and I think the quarterback needs to make a play here. Roderick Royal could have undressed him pretty bad there, but came in and make a sack and just took that play for the loss.
Yeah, Royal's been solid in this first half. We take a look at the numbers in the first half of play, and pretty much, you know, it's not that far one-sided. In fact, Georgia Southern leads in some categories.
Well, actually, things are going very well for Georgia Southern, running the football, doing a good job of that. But really, the big thing here we talked about is the turnovers. It's those three turnovers there in the football game, and the time of possession in favor of Georgia Southern, running that football, running the clock. McNeese State doing a good job passing the ball with Scott Pendarvis on the play-action passing game. So the combination of those 2 things, the turnovers and the play-action passing game, is what has set McNeese ahead in this football game.
So outstanding first half for Scott Pendarvis. Vic King, the leading rusher with 67 yards. Tommy Tate, Mike Sewak looking on. These gentlemen have been there in these situations 100 times before. Sewak in his 2nd season, while, as you know, Tommy Tate, the National Coach of the Year a year ago. Kicks this one deep to Lewis Barr, and Barr will bring it out of the end zone. Has the seam, busted to the outside after the 28-yard line. As Lewis Barr came out of there the only way you can, running 100 miles an hour and hoping that seam opens up, and it almost did. So Georgia Southern, who scored on its last possession of the first half after a blocked punt, try to get things rolling in the right direction now as Lawrence Darby was there to make the stop for McNeese.
You know what impressed me about Georgia Southern, their quarterback, Chaz Williams, you know, the few times that he attempted to pass, he really has a nice touch on the football. So, you know, he shows that he's able to throw the football on the receivers like Carney, that offense. You know, this offense can make some big plays, and they've shown some opportunity to do that.
Williams, good pitch relationship, cut it outside, and a big gain of 14 yards as Kevin Davis came across from that slot as the pitch man.
Well, Rod Gully, the free safety, has to come down and make this tackle. We talked about him earlier in the football game of coming down and making that slot open field tackle, and he missed him there and gave him a big play for the offense.
We got a player down, a McNeese player in the Georgia Southern bench area. Davis got a couple of big carries there, a 15-yarder, and then he had a 29-yard run a little earlier in the game. Don't know exactly who that is down on the field. Maybe Roderick Royal.
Yeah, I think it is Rod. He's down there, and certainly need to have him in the game. He's chasing the play from the inside out and goes to the sideline, but good to see him hop back up. And I bet money he'd be back in the football game. Watch from the inside here. Rod Royal trying to make the tackle. The shoestring tackle he does. He rolls into the sideline, and
he may have gotten a heel to the stomach.
He may have gotten clipped there or kicked or something, and but he hops up, and that's good news for Cowboy fans.
He won't be there very long. The sideline, that is. So Tyree Broden comes in to replace the All-American linebacker. Williams cut it up. Nice gain out near midfield. Say he went down at the 47-yard line. Good first down yardage. Bring up second down and short.
Cedric Lars, number 28, going to come into the picture here on Chaz Williams. He's got to step up and make a big firm tackle there. Chaz goes over him. Cedric Lars needs to come in there and be physical on that defense for the Cowboys. And you see Tyree Broden, his size, a good, solid senior linebacker coming into this football game for Roderick Royal. And
that leading tackler last week against K-State, this one almost intercepted. Fairchild had it on the fingertips and couldn't hold on.
Well, he's doing the 5 push-ups out there because he knows, hey, that's what they do in defense out there in practice. When you miss one of those, you do the push-ups. This play he's going to remember all night long because the ball is going to feel like it's in slow motion. It's going to come right into your living room. Watch it here right off the fingertips of Fairchild, and he says, oh, my goodness, I should have had that one. Go ahead, get in the push-up position and get those done, young man. Get another opportunity.
Never seen that done before. Well, you know what they say, if DBs had hands, they'd be wide receivers. Lead option, Williams. Well, pitched it at the last second, and I think Jermaine Austin was so surprised that the pitch came to him, he couldn't hold on to it.
Wow, Tim Kennebrew on the left defensive end spot for McNeese State does an excellent job. Watch him here squeeze down. Kennebrew, I think he's going to make the play, but watch the pitch at the very last minute by Chaz Williams, and the ball fumbled out of bounds. That's just sweet ball handling.
High risk, high reward, this Georgia Southern offense, and so far, the risk has outweighed the reward, at least tonight.
Going to wonder if they're going to call it a forward lateral or a pitch. The ball was not under control by the...
I think they're worried about the spot.
Yeah, where the spot's going to be, but did he pitch the ball forward, I think is what they're asking.
I don't think he did. I think the ball went out of bounds.
It was flat. It was sweet, I'll tell you that. Take a look at Chaz here. He's pitching here the fake. The ball's coming flat. Is it coming towards forward?
You may be right.
And it may be coming a little bit forward.
They waved off the penalty marker.
I guess they decided not.
My guess was for an illegal forward pass. They waved it off. Play will stand.
And one of those.
It's a first down.
Chaz Williams in the first half trying to pull one back and do something cute earlier. It cost him, fumbled the football. That time pitched it out of bounds.
So now from the 46, Georgia Southern on the march. And Austin right up the gut. Austin near the 40-yard line.
Kevin, normally McNeese goes with a 4-man down line, a 4-2-5 defense. 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, but they're playing a 3-down lineman here. Take a look at these 3 guys. They're going to take away everything. They've got 4 linebackers back here to fill all the gaps. Trying to make a play, swimming over the center, getting in the backfield, but good job of handing it off inside to Austin. Georgia Southern's going to read the defense, and that quarterback of the line of scrimmage, he reads when it goes up there, and he makes the call which side they're going to run the option to.
Second down and 5 on the pitch. Leaning for the first down, but I don't think it's going to be enough as Kevin Davis tried to stretch out for that one.
Hey, I'm on this side of the field, and I'm seeing that ball pitch, and it is just so sweet coming out of Chaz Williams' hand. How he's able to get that ball out of there and make a good, accurate pitch. He's in traffic. Look at coming down the line of scrimmage, Chaz Williams, what he sees. He's going to read the defensive end there. He's in pressure there. The ball is so flat. It's quick out of his hands and gets it into the running back's hands. He's able to make something out of nothing there. Kevin Davis getting that pitch.
So 3rd down and 2.
They're going to have motion.
Yeah. Maybe 3rd down and 7. Jermaine Austin went early. In Austin, we were just handed a note. He took an IV at halftime as he was really dehydrated and sick at the break. So we'll see how he responds here in the second half. Obviously dealing with much more heat and humidity even than what they have in Statesboro, Georgia.
Like I said earlier in the ball game, that fullback, every time he goes inside, he's getting pounded because one of these defensive players is responsible for that fullback as he pounds it up in there. And he takes a shot every time and every snap.
74 yards for Austin. Lead option. And Austin slipped down. You get outside the hash marks and start getting to the boundary markers.
You see that turf come up there. It's a little soft. Kevin, you talked about it earlier in the ball game. Around the numbers on this field, they've had so much rain out here in South Louisiana that this field is still a little bit soft, and Jermaine Austin makes the cut and loses his feet. But there's going to be good coverage that time by the Cowboys defense.
Chris Darby was there with that coverage. So a nice drive, and it's a punt time. B.J. Sams goes back deep. High hanger. It's all about the bounce, and what a bounce it is. Sean Holland, outstanding. Deadens it at the 2-yard line. You can't do it much better than that. So McNeese State will have the football for the first time in the second half, deep in their own territory when we come back. 13-3 is just early on here in the third quarter. Georgia Southern put together a drive, but it ended in a punt. And now McNeese, after a great punt. And Georgia Southern is Sean Holland did it about as well as you can do it. Put it down at the 2-yard line. Take a look at the numbers for Pendarvis, completing 60% of his passes in the first half for 147 yards. They run it right up the middle, out to the 3-yard line.
Well, Scott Pendarvis has done what he's been asked to do in this offense, run it efficiently and play action pass, make some big plays and some good throws. Their offensive line is big. We talked about that at the top of the telecast, that their size at offensive line about 300 pounds and 255 or so for the defensive front of Georgia Southern. That size factor does take into effect late in this football game as McNeese State would like to establish the running game once again.
Well, they tried Vic King up the middle again, maybe to the 5-yard line, but not an inch further. Derek Butler, we've called his name plenty tonight. First man there. From Orangeburg, South Carolina.
The linebacker's having a pretty good football game, getting up there, and played outside linebacker a year ago, but stepped into the middle this year, asked him to do that, and he's responded very well.
Led the team last week in tackles, will probably lead them again this week in tackles. 3rd down, 7 to go for the first. And it's punt time for McNeese. Just a step ahead of Brett Broadhead.
I think that ball came out of Scott Pendarvis' hand. Didn't have a real good delivery on that football. Nonetheless, a good stop that time by Georgia Southern, doing what they need to do. Go out there 3 plays and out, stop this McNeese offense, have a chance to return this punt, or even a chance to block the punt here deep in their territory.
They blocked 1 tonight. They blocked 2 last week. See if they come after Jason Cook or set up for the return. Low liner. Lewis Barr with room to run. And down to the 36-yard line. So great field position for Georgia Southern. 43-yard punt, 12-yard return, and Georgia Southern has great field position when we come back. Well, McNeese State leading at 13-3, but Georgia Southern will have it deep inside McNeese territory for their second drive of the night. There you see big man in the middle, Roderick Royal, on the bench.
He rolled to the sideline of Georgia Southern in the last series, and Tyree Bowden is out there for the Cowboys now at the middle linebacker spot, along with Ryan Garrison, the weak linebacker.
Again, the pitch to the slot man and Davis, and they played it well again. Ron Gully was there to blow the play up and run him out of bounds.
Good job by Cedric Lars, number 28 for the Cowboys defense. Does a good job of getting off the block. Going to come down the line here. Watch on the right side of your screen. Get off the block, number 28, and make an open field tackle there. Good job that time in the secondary coming off the block. Cedric Lars, the junior.
Gain of a couple, second down and 8. They're really impressed the way Cedric Lars stepped in because he had some big shoes to fill, an all-conference performer in Hadley Prince from a year ago. He's done a nice job with it this season. Again, Davis lost it. He'll get it back, and more than likely be short of the first down. They move the football up. See where they mark this. Cedric Lars again with the hit.
This is unfair because he's pitching the ball and he doesn't have control of it. The ball goes forward and out of bounds. Not sure what they're going to do here. They're going to mark it at the spot. Take a look here as you see the pitch coming around, and quarterback pitches it, but he doesn't have control of it. The ball is pitching and moves forward, and they're going to gain a few yards on the pitch and out of bounds and with no control.
They didn't mark. That ball went out of bounds off of the.
So they marked it where he
marked it back where he last possessed it.
Yeah. Okay, good call.
Way back at the, well, I say way back. They're back at the 28-yard line. So it's third down and 1. Chaz Williams down to the 20 with the first down, and really with a lot of open running room.
Again, Lars making a shoestring tackle coming off the block, and if the offensive wide receiver had stayed on Lars, he was going to have a touchdown here. You're going to see at the bottom of your screen Chaz Williams coming around, and Lars gets off the block once again. That's Anderson trying to get him, number 26, and again, Lars making a good tackle in the open field.
And it sidestepped the blocker, able to step up, but it's enough for the first down, obviously. So from the 21-yard line, it's first down and 10. On the same play. But again, you get to the boundary markers, and you're going to have tough sledding. Chris White was there to smother him after pretty much the feet came out from under Chaz Williams. Williams, a junior from Apopka, Florida, 5'10", 215 pounds. Just joining us, an All-American from a year ago, and he rushed for over 1,400 yards, threw for over 1,000 yards. Rushed for 27 touchdowns last season. A high-powered offense. It has been hurt by the turnover tonight. They will call a timeout. Will Georgia Southern trailing this one by 10, 13-3 with 8 minutes, 31 seconds to go here in the third quarter. So timeout of the field. We'll take it with them. McNeese with a 10-point lead, trying to hold on here in the third. to 3, McNeese on top here at Cowboy Stadium in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Trying to fend off the bugs.
Yeah, we got the bugs working up here, that's for sure.
Humidity and the bugs. A good night for college football. And a good game was what we've had so far. 8:31 to go in the third quarter. Georgia Southern got to get in the end zone for the first time tonight. Going up top, open man, Kearney. Incomplete.
I talked about how I was impressed with Chaz Williams in his play-action pass game and throwing the football. Good throw that time. It's a tough catch, though, for Kearney. Little play-action here and just throw it up there out on top. He's got good throw, but Kearney can't make the cut.
It's the only place he could really put it, though.
Cedric Lars is behind. Doesn't have a chance. And ball comes off his fingertips and it bounces to the turf. But they had a play that worked.
Well, now they face a third down and 7. Sellout crowd on its feet. And they blow the play dead.
It's going to be an illegal motion. Moving a little quick there. And this is where McNeese would like to have Georgia Southern offensively in a third and long situation. Not typically a passing team. I talked about it earlier. Only 8 pass average attempt per football game, and they're probably approaching that now in this game. And that's just not the thing that they like to do. So McNeese, with good speed on defense, they run that 4-2-5 defense. They've got a lot of speed out there at the linebacker and secondary positions that they're able to match up very well. So look for a passing situation here to be in favor of the Cowboys.
It is a third down, 13 to go for the first down. Line to make is the 11. They cut it up. 10-5. Out at the 2-yard line, a first down for Kevin Davis. Gerald Zeno saved the touchdown. What a gutsy play on 3rd down and 13.
Chaz Williams comes to the line of scrimmage, and he reads the defense here. He sees everyone over here to this side of the field, and he calls the option play to the backside. Watch the blockers out front. Got a block here on the outside, and they turn the safety in. That's Lars getting knocked down to back there, and that's a good job by Anderson coming around and making a big play. That's Kevin Davis, number 36, doing a good job for Georgia Southern.
Big all night. Over 9 yards per carry for Davis. So from the 2.
Williams into the end zone from the 2-yard line.
Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Well, a late signal, and the sellout crowd is silenced.
Mike Seawalk has to be happy about that offensive performance coming down there. Chaz Williams running the option, doing a good job, audible at the line of scrimmage and finding a hole and getting down there near, and then hand it to your man inside your workhorse and let him get in the end zone. Good surge that time by Georgia Southern up front on offense.
But Chaz Williams has now scored a touchdown in 13 straight games. He scored 27 touchdowns a year ago. So they have point after it, a chance for a 10-point game with Sean Holland trying to do just that. And he missed it.
Well, that's a big play. That is huge because the extra point now makes it a touchdown they'll have to score. But take a look here as Chaz Williams comes in the lead. Fullback coming through there, and Chaz Williams just goes behind on that lead option here.
Paul Collins leading the way as well.
Big defensive tackle gets cleaned out. John Paul Jones moving inside. Need to hold your ground.
That's a lot of man to up in.
312-pounder. He played real well tonight, though. He's one of the leading tacklers on that defense for the Cowboys. But nonetheless, Georgia Southern is right back in his football game with that score.
7-play, 36-yard scoring drive. Again, this time taking advantage of the short field, but really the first time tonight.
We talked about number 2 and number 3 playing this football game. It'd be a close one. We thought it would throughout the whole ball game, and it certainly has really held up to that billing, Kevin. 13-9 here, just one score away. Georgia Southern is to taking the lead and want to come out there and play inspired defense. On the other hand, the Cowboys, who had bad field position to start their last possession, now like to see good field position here on the kick return.
Former offensive coordinator, now head coach Mike Seawalk, talking with his quarterback and his backs. Everybody on the same page. They certainly have been on the same page, at least after that first quarter. And the turnovers really hurt Georgia Southern. B.J. Sams bounces to the outside, to the 40. Nice return and good field position for McNeese. But they needed something to turn things around just a little bit.
B.J. Sams is everything that he's built to be. He's a kick returner. He plays a little bit in coverage on the punt team and also a wide receiver. But he sees the opening to the outside and has the speed to win the corner. Good job that time by the kicker coming over and knocking him out of bounds. Otherwise, B.J. may have had a score.
39-yard return. Talk about your all-purpose guy. 161 yards of all-purpose yards last year against Kansas State. He had a game last year against Western Kentucky. If you catch this one, down to the 47-yard line, wrestled out of bounds after a gain of 8. Well, the crowd wanted a late penalty. A little unnecessary roughness on the sideline, not going to get it. But he set a school record last year for 316 all-purpose yards against Western Kentucky.
Yeah, slip screen here going to the sideline, getting to the corner, and just taking him out of bounds, and just kind of don't let loose of it. It's just a ball. He's the defensive tackle out there, but when he's not on the field, he can't be making that play.
If he had thrown him to the ground, he'd had a problem. 3 catches, 76 yards. Well, they really stacked that one up. B.J. Sams with the 3 catches, 76 yards. But a 3rd down and 4 after a gain of just a yard. Georgia Southern wanted to do a good job containing Vic King, and I think they've done that tonight. At least so far.
Well, he really hasn't gotten on track. They've run effectively with him a little bit inside early in the football game to set up that play-action passing game. Haven't seen that here in the second half, the play-action game, but you know, they've got to run the ball to get that accomplished.
Third down, about 5. That was knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and a penalty marker comes in. You're going to get roughing the passer on Derek Butler after Georgia Southern had held on third down.
Well, that's a tough call.
Yes,
that's a great play. Well, in the defensive defender, he's coming to make a play, and he's swiping at the football, and he hits the ball, and then his right hand's going to continue. Watch him as he comes in here. He tips the ball. It's the other defender who tips it, but then the linebacker comes through unaccounted for. That's Derek Butler coming right to him. That's number 43 for Georgia Southern. That's where they call the penalty.
He also lowered that face mask and hit him with the crown of the helmet. You can't do that. And it's a big penalty against Georgia Southern.
Mike Seward saying, can't we do that? That's okay.
No. He saw it on the replay. He wouldn't be arguing with the official. He'd be arguing with his player. Looking for the slip screen. Instead, they go up to Broadhead. Boy, the strong safety was coming over from the get-go. James Young came over to make it the free safety to knock that one away.
They set you up. They set everybody else up trying that slip screen for the third time tonight, but the defense did a good job of reaction, trying to fake it out there to B.J. Sams. They've thrown that a couple times and try to slip Britt Broadhead behind the secondary. A good job out there in the secondary by Aaron Whitaker, who holds his ground, and then your free safety coming across as James Young, and those two make a nice play in the secondary.
Pendarvis to throw. The out pattern incomplete. Looking for Marcus Turner. A little high for the senior from West Monroe, 5'8", 135 pounds, but he can fly. That time he needed to fly to catch that ball, or at least take off.
Well, McNeese is trying to rely a little bit too much on the passing game. They haven't been able to establish the running game as effectively as they would like to. They'd like to run that ball on second down, bring up third and short. Now they're third and long again, Kevin, and this is not where McNeese would like to be.
Third down and 10. And Darvis has completed half of his 14 pass attempts. Throw this one complete. Big tight end Gore, and he may have the first down. It'll be very close as Matt Gore, the 225-pound senior from the Houston area, out of Katy, got very close to a first down. It'll depend on the spot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just a little bit short. You see Gore coming across, just a little drag pattern, trying to work up the sideline to get that first down marker.
Burchett and Tariq Muhammad were there to drag him out of bounds.
They're going to measure this one, I think, Kevin. Or
Matt Gore played quarterback, recruited, played defensive back, then they moved him to tight end. Talk about a man that can do just about anything. He's played quarterback here at McNeese. You're going to find out first. A better look at it than the referee. That much, folks.
That is close.
And that is
about the width of one of those stripes, huh, Kevin?
You get camera work any better than that?
Not surprising, McNeese is electing to go for this here. Got their offense out there, their jumbo package.
That is to the point when you got a guy like Pendarvis at 6'3", 220 pounds. Really no reason to hand this football over. Or hand it off, I should say. You just let the big quarterback.
And you got big Luke
take it right up the middle.
Luke Lawton, who's made a couple of short down carries already in this game, might be handing it there.
Quarterback sneak right behind that 315-pound center. Wow. You know what?
I think Luke Lawton popped him forward.
Lawton is the reason that they got this first down, and it wasn't that Lawton was carrying the ball. It was that Luke Lawton just absolutely pushed Scott Pendarvis to the first down.
Good surge this time by Georgia Southern defensively. You see quarterback stop there, but Lawton comes in and pops him. A little bit of a right forearm shiver there to your quarterback from the fullback. Take a look here, and you're going to see the quarterback Pendarvis just kind of rise over the pile, and it gives him the first down. But Luke can get your first down in a lot of different ways, Kevin.
Very resourceful on that one. I'm not sure if Pendarvis is going to thank him tomorrow, though. That's a little sore after that one. Pendarvis handed over to Vic King. King inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. 15-yard game. First time we really seen Vic King get the chance to stretch his legs in this game.
First time they've run the draw play also tonight, get the defense set on their heels. And take a listen here to this play.
So first and goal from the 8. King trying the left side and fighting down to the 3-yard line.
Tough run by Vic King, but the white shirts, I tell you, they're swarming to the football. That Georgia Southern defense showing they've got some heart. Inside the 10-yard line, you're going to play your best football. Those guys are certainly playing hard on the defensive side. Vic King here trying to get a little bit of a resurgence. Not a big half in the first half, and now with a couple of runs under his belt here in the third quarter, feels like, hey, I can run this football. Give it to me again.
Second down goal. Time remaining in the third quarter. McNeese struggled to put the football in the end zone. Had a couple of field goals and 1 touchdown. But trying to do that right here. Luke Lawton up the middle, and Lawton right on the doorstep.
Well, when you got the big offensive line like the Cowboys do, you want to pound it in there. Give it to your big fullback inside. You see the push. He's got a seam trying to cut back, but the defense of Georgia Southern doing a good job of wrapping him up around the leg, which is where you need to tackle Luke Lawton, because you're not going to tackle him upstairs. He's too big and too powerful.
Third down, goal to go. From the 1. Got there, touchdown.
Power football by the Cowboys right over their center. LeBour in their right guard, Justin Marison, Derek Creashen on the right side, the right tackle, just pushing that Georgia Southern defense. Making the score here. Watch him come and push on the right side, and Vic King just powering through the linebacker.
He ran over Derek Butler.
Right in there for the score.
And Marino chance for an 11-point game. He does it. So McNeese saw Georgia Southern score here in this third quarter, and they answer right back. How about a little power running from Big King?
Big King powers it in there over the linebacker, but he gets over that right offensive side of the line, which I talked about. You got a big offensive line, you want to use them. You want to get those guys going down into the trenches and pushing. And they certainly pushed the pile on that, not only on that play, but on that entire series.
He got there. He didn't get there by a lot. So McNeese, the home crowd, trying to make the most of their only home game. They don't have another home game until October 25th. They go on the road for 3 straight. Grambling, Southeastern Louisiana, and Utah State. They've got 2 open dates mixed into that before they start conference. It'll be a while before the Cowboys will be going at it here at Cowboy Stadium. There you see, October 25th, Sam Houston State is when the conference season started. You can see that game at Texas State on October 30th. SFA, Northwestern, and then at Nichols down in Thibodaux, Louisiana to wrap up the regular season. That on November 22nd. Marino. And Barnes, 5 yards deep. Barnes going to bring it out and stop.
Wow, he's got quick feet.
Yes, he does.
Looked like he was coming out of the end zone with like a rocket, but stopped right on a dime just before the end line. Probably a smart call to do that. Here's what we got coming up on Fox Sports Net with the Southland Conference. September 18th, we'll be over at Stephen F. Austin to see Northern Iowa.
That's on Thursday, and then go on to the month of October and Florida International, Stephen F. Austin. Sam Houston will play host to SFA. Always big when those two get together. We told you about McNeese, Texas State. Chaz Williams on the option, pitches it out. 1 man to beat.
Got a hold. Got a flag, Kevin.
T.J. Anderson with a great run, but it's all coming back.
Well, they run the pitch play out here to the outside, and the penalty is going to negate this. You're going to have holding on one of the wide receivers on the outside, and everything looked like it was going to be a big play here for Georgia Southern.
Look and see if you see one of the slot backs.
Look at the top of your screen here, and well, it's just holding on the outside. Is
it may have been P.J. Cantrell. P.J. Cantrell was the man out there, the wide receiver, who had called for the penalty.
Yeah, just stretching the jersey of the cornerback out there.
It wasn't blatant, but it was enough.
Keith Smith on the right side, the cornerback, was being held and was able to come off to make the play. And that would have been a big play and a good opportunity for Georgia Southern once again.
Wipes out a big gainer instead. Second down and 20, or make it first down and 20 as Williams hurdles one man, gets out to the 15-yard line. Second down and long coming up as we count down to 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Cowboys on top 20-9.
Hey, this has been a physical football game, and I would expect nothing less. These two teams, offensively, defensively, that trench warfare that's going on out there, it is pretty heated, and these two teams not leaving anything out there. I'm telling you, they're playing all their heart with all their hearts, and they're trying to make something happen. And it is really physical. We've seen some big hits in this football game already.
Trying to short corner, and a lot of blue jerseys out there.
Well, they've seen that play time and time again tonight, and now they finally found a handle on it. Just play good technique on the outside, get off the blocks, and come inside and make a play. We've got a Georgia Southern player down on the field. Take a look at the defense here going out there, getting off the blocks. You see the cut block there, but look at the position of Fairchild on the outside. He's got his leverage, he's got his weight there, and you see Smith come off and make the tackle.
Smith fought right through a blocker or two to get there.
That's good defense on the option play. Can't tell who the player is down. We got all the staff around him. Kind of hot and humid night here, and
it is. The breeze will kick up every once in a while, and it cools things off for a little bit, but not for very long. Now
the lights and the humidity, they're bringing something up, Kevin. It's the bugs. We had a 3-incher fly right by your
biggest bug I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, he's right on my jacket now. Yeah, look at that.
That's not the same one.
That's the same one? Got all kinds of different kind of bugs down here in South Louisiana.
Folks, yeah, some of the things we're seeing tonight.
I'm petting one here. He's about 3 inches long. He's resting comfortably on my blazer.
Look at this thing. You could mount that on the wall.
All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Oh, go ahead and fly away.
Yeah. Insect
have a
rights
good night.
Activists giving us a call. It was this big.
It was big.
That's not the big one we saw a minute ago, though. I think the big one a minute ago carried off a small child. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, I don't know if that's seasoning for crawfish or not, Kevin.
Tastes like chicken. Here we go. Third down and 17.
Oh, look at this one over here.
He's
on you again. All right, we got football to deal with here. Forget about the bugs.
Last time Georgia Southern had a third down and long. They were able to convert. They got a third down and 17 here. Straight drop, Williams going up top. McCurney had a step, and he had the inside, but a little too tall. Beg your pardon. It's Teddy Kraft who was there on the fly pattern.
Well, Keith Smith is one of the best covered cornerbacks in the conference, maybe in all of the whole country, number 24 for the Cowboys. He stepped to step with Carney here. The ball was overthrown. If the ball was closer, he'd be able to make a play on it. Good job that time in coverage by Keith Smith, the senior cornerback.
So fourth down and a punt time. Sean Holland will punt it away. And the dangerous DJ Sams standing inside Georgia Southern territory.
Gonna have a chance here with this one.
Just field it. 46. Got a great block. Has an alley to the outside. He's down to the 25-yard line.
I saw two great blocks on that play, Kevin.
30-yard return. And Carl Kearney saved a touchdown.
That's exactly right. B.J. Sams got the corner. A couple Cowboys with excellent blocks. to set up that return by B.J. Sams. I saw the separation that he was going to have when he catches the ball. No one within about 10 yards of him. And watch him just kind of line up. There goes one block, and here's a second block to get him around the corner. B.J. Sams, look at this, kabingo.
That's a nice job of getting the headgear out front.
Yeah, just picking off. Those are good legal blocks, and B.J. Sams with a good return. And as you said, Carney with his speed and ability saves the score.
151 all-purpose yards today. Sprint off this one to the 25-yard line. And did he lose the football at the end of the play? No.
There's Terrence Moses coming in at tailback for the Cowboys, getting a run, giving Vic King a break.
Moses, a guy you don't see much of. Redshirt freshman from Baton Rouge, Southern Lab High School.
And you see how quick he is, just shifty here, getting him and puts him down on the ground, and he's down before the ball's out.
Throw this one in the flat. B.J. Sams with room to run. Jukes one man to the 15. Slapped out of bounds and a late hit.
And a big block on that play by Broadhead on the outside, number 4. Comes out of his shoe on that play on that block, but B.J. Sams, this little slip screen has worked well under some contact out of bounds. Late hit on that play. I've been really impressed with B.J. Sams. He's brought his A game here tonight. You're going to see Pendarvis throw it out there to him. Watch Broadhead, number 4, get a block here and come back. He's going to the outside. He gets 2. Kind of gets in the way of 2 of them, and then the late hit out of bounds.
Yeah, that was Eric Hadley. And see where he hits it. See, that's the problem, is he's still in bounds when he made this hit. Now, granted, Hadley drove him out of bounds 6 yards, but when the first contact was made, they were both in bounds. Fighting this Big King right up the middle.
Yeah, big Luke Lawton got that one,
beg your pardon, yeah.
They like to hand it to him inside. He's a touchdown guy for him. He's got in the end zone quite a bit over the years for the Cowboys.
Sure-handed, doesn't fumble. Kind of guy you want handling the football when you get close. Right up the middle.
Moses again, Kevin, over the top. Just going to be about a yard short, I think.
Moses a yard short of his first career touchdown. Terrence Moses, a guy, wasn't even listed in the 3-deeps. Getting some playing time. Ahead of Chris Thomas and Brent McFadden. Lawton up, back over. Touchdown, McNeese.
Power football by McNeese, running the football effectively. Give it to your big fullback, let him power over the top, and that's exactly what happens here. Big Luke shows, hey, I can dive as well instead of banging in there. And big fullback having a little fun. Good job that time by the offensive line, getting the surge and a little space to work with.
Whistle to play dead. We'll have to do this one again. Well, McNeese State in control. It's going to take a big fourth quarter for Georgia Southern. Trail this one 26-9.
Kevin, we talked about it earlier when Georgia Southern was down 10-0 early in this football game. When you're predominantly an option running football team and the passing game where you get big chunks of yardage in a hurry, that's not the big part of your game. So it's a little bit more difficult for an option type running team to get back into a football game and down 26-9 with a chance here with the extra point to be down 27-9. Really bodes well for the Cowboys if they can play good pass defense.
So Marino, the kick was in effect 25-yard extra point. And he's good. So Georgia Southern did some threatening in that third quarter, but McNeese getting the last laugh in the third and getting in the end zone the most. Lawton is the touchdown guy, the short yardage. He leaves headed one way, lands heading the other. Near sellout crowd. Happy to see what Luke Lawton has been able to do tonight. He's got a lot of help. Senior from Lafayette, Louisiana. They say pro scouts really keeping a close eye on Luke Lawton. He's got the size, the speed, the ability to block, and he's got the good hands that we talked about.
He's having fun. That's what it's all about. College football here in Lake Charles, McNeese State. I tell you, they have great fan support. They come out to this football team. They're standing in the end zone, behind the hedges in the end zone with the great seats. There's no seats in the stands. It's standing room only, and they've come out. Probably almost everybody in town is here.
Yeah, the Georgia Southern
all around.
The Statesboro is nice. But we were making trips over to Lake Charles. That's quite a trip as well. Lewis Barr back deep, fielding yet another kickoff. That one goes out of bounds, touchback. Touched it in the end zone, went out across the sideline, but in the end zone, so it'll come out to the 20-yard line.
Well, 15-plus minutes here for Georgia Southern to get on track into the fourth quarter. Just a few seconds, the third quarter remaining, a few seconds remaining there, and then the fourth quarter to go. And Chaz Williams and company coming out there. Yeah, they've had some big plays on the pitch passes on the outside, but I think McNeese has made some adjustments there, and they've come up big. They've gotten off the blocks. So I think it's going to rest on the shoulders of Chaz Williams trying to find some receivers where Carney and Cantrell have to make some plays in the pass receiving game.
Jermaine Austin breaking it loose. Gully tried to run him down. Can't do it. To the 30, to the 20, to yard line.
Well, when you can make big plays like that, Kevin, you don't have to throw it. That's a good job of running the football by Jermaine Austin, breaking tackles. Broke through the line of scrimmage. No one actually touched him, and Rod Gully, the free safety, just flags him on the play. Tries to make an over-the-shoulder tackle. Take a look at number 10 come into your picture on the top there and just misses the tackle. Jermaine Austin just keeps churning. Remember, he had an IV at halftime. This young man came back here in the second half, and that's a pretty impressive run.
58-yard run for the young man who was suffering from dehydration. 130 yards tonight, 58 of those coming on that last play. Tim Gersitz has come in at the fullback spot. They hand it to Gersitz, and Gersitz gets down to the 20-yard line. Gersitz, an interesting story. He's a junior from Bellevue, Florida, but a transfer from Air Force as John Paul Jones and Roderick Royal make the tackle.
Well, that kind of put McNeese defense back on their heels, and that would be something that they want to square away. They want to play good control defense, and when you're a safety, you have to tackle in that situation.
Second down and 8 for Georgia Southern. Well, that is the end of the third quarter of play as they blow the play dead. Didn't get it off in time. So Georgia Southern came out swinging to start this second half, but McNeese counterpunching. They lead it 27-9. The fourth quarter when we come back to Lake Charles, Louisiana on Fox Sports Net. Well, McNeese leads it by a score of 27-9 as we get ready to go here in the fourth quarter play. Fresh 15 on the clock, and Tom Burnett, the commissioner of the Southland Conference, kind enough to join us up here in the booth. Congratulations on what has turned out to be a great night for football all the way around, on the field, in the stands. Can't ask for much more.
Well, Kevin and Gary, I tell you, this is a great atmosphere and a great opportunity for us to showcase not only McNeese Southland Conference, but 1AA football as a whole. What a great night.
Williams with room to run. Spinning inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. It's a first down for Georgia Southern.
Yeah, Georgia Southern's knocking. Chaz Williams showing he's pretty slick out there with the ball. Good job of reading down. Nothing happens, so he's just going to scramble out to his right, and he's got a lot of room to run. And good ball security here. Smart play. Just take what the defense is going to give you and line it up and snap it again.
I guess when the schedule came out, you had to look at this as well and say, two of the real powerhouses in 1AA football, not just this year, but each and every year. It's going to be a fun night.
Well, we did, and when I talked to my good friend Danny Morrison at the Southern Conference, we penciled this one in, and we could get this one on television. It would certainly be a great showcase. We knew we'd have a great crowd here, and they were agreeable, and certainly the great folks at Fox Southwest and Fox South were able to put it together for us, so we're very pleased with what we thought could be a great atmosphere and a great show, and I think we found that.
There's your counterparts from the Southern Conference. Kind enough to stop by a little bit earlier.
Danny's a good guy. He's big into television and done great things for their conference, and is a big part of this broadcast tonight, obviously.
Well, the first minute of the fourth quarter. Second down, right up the middle, Jermaine Austin. And Austin down to about the 3-yard line. It's going to be third down and goal for Georgia Southern.
A couple of storied programs, Tom, and how they approach the game, I think, is very, very similar. A lot of tradition, a lot of things that stay the same. Offensively, you know about Georgia Southern, running the football, that spread option, and also from McNeese State, the diverse offensive attack that they have. And I think that's what makes them both top programs.
Sure, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, both of these programs have had a great deal of success, like you said, Gary, and why change? No need to change anything. They've been great for a long time, and you think they'll continue to do so.
Williams gets in for the touchdown on a third down and goal, just following the big fullback and right into the end zone. He scores for the second time tonight. Now Georgia Southern will more than likely go for the 2-point conversion here.
Well, you see Chaz Williams just riding off the left side, following Austin into the end zone. Austin happy, gets on the ground and makes a block, but going to go for the 2, like you said, Kevin, try to put a couple more on the board, bring within 10 points.
There you go. It's that simple, or is it? When to go for 2.
Wow. Now, do we have a mathematician in the truck that figured that out? Wow. You know what? I don't know if are there coaches that have that card in their pocket.
So what you're saying is if you're ahead by 19, you go for 2. I'm sure that would set real well with your opponent. On the option, Austin didn't get there. Rod Gully, what a play.
A good straight by the linebacker, taking away the quarterback option, but Rod Gully, number 10 from his safety position, comes on the outside and makes the play. Watch number 10 come downhill and make the kick out here. Good job. He's not even in the screen, but bingo right there at the goal line. Knocks Jermaine Austin out at the 1, and that's a good play by your safety.
Talk about how this game got made, how this really came to fruition as far as getting these two teams together. First time they've ever met in the regular season. You could talk about that. First, we have to take a timeout. 13:21 to go. McNeese on top of Georgia Southern, 27-15. You see, standing room only. Looked over the hedges. That's all the room that's left in this football stadium tonight.
Hey, that guy's all lit up.
There's plenty of good seats left around him.
We got to get the blue guy behind him. He blends in with the background.
There he is. Look at this.
Yeah, that's ingenious. They teach that here at McNeese State, Tom, do you know?
I don't know if that's in the curriculum, but
he left the house thinking he was looking good. That was unique.
That's pretty good fans. A little something different. You don't see that at every Southland game, do you?
I don't think so, but hey, if they come out like that every weekend, we'll be happy.
There you go.
There you go.
No, you've been in the chair a few months, so how are you liking things in the Southland? And your first year overall, your thoughts?
Well, I think everything's great right now. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, and not too many conferences can get to be 40 years old. And we've got a lot of proud history, great tradition. And when you just talk about football alone, just the annual expectation that we have to compete for the national championship, to put multiple teams in the postseason, we have done that throughout the history of this conference, regardless of the membership changes. And that has been the one constant that threads through the whole 40-year history is our football success. So really pleased with that. Very pleased with what we're doing in some other sports. Great postseason success this year in baseball and softball last spring, I should say. And we're making some strides in some other sports. that we're really proud of, and I think we need to get out and tell our story a little bit more. We've got some great things going on, and we need to tell people about
it. I'm just going to tell you about Pendarvis dropping back the pass. This one complete to Lawton, cuts it back. First down and more to the 41-yard line. Is the fact of the quality of football. Beg your pardon, that was Matt Gore. It was 14, not 44, who made that catch. But, you know, you kind of live a little bit in the shadow of some other conferences, and we've talked about this. You got to work a little bit harder, but when you get a chance like this, for people to actually see just what the quality of football is, it makes it a lot easier to sell that product.
Well, you're absolutely right, Kevin. This is really good football, and the opportunity to showcase it on a Saturday night in prime time in the middle of football season is just fantastic for our league and the Southern Conference and 1AA football as a whole. So we're just excited about this opportunity, and I think we've proved tonight with a great crowd and the atmosphere, the excitement, the great game here that's certainly far from being over, that we've done a good job with this.
And it kind of echoes throughout all of everything going on in the Southland Conference. You have great support by the presidents of all the universities, and I just, you know, we have this game on television, and it just says a lot about the support that you've gotten from in the commissioner's chair of promoting, you know, athletics in the Southland Conference.
Sure, and a lot of people may want to, you know, either blame or give credit to the commissioner's office, but what it really comes down to is these schools are committed to success. They want to be good. They've been successful. They want to continue that, and our presidents have been very proactive in staying ahead of the game, so to speak, and make sure they continue and remain successful.
Yeah, for those of you watching on Fox Sports Net Southwest, take a look at some of the games that will be coming up. We got a full slate coming up, and a busy November the 1st, the 8th, and the 22nd. Now Vic King just runs out of bounds. He's going to be short of the first down, and that was on a 3rd down and 1. No gain.
Take another look at that schedule for what's coming up here on Fox Sports Net.
We travel to Nacogdoches for that one. Stephen F. Austin. SFA going to Florida International, then Sam Houston playing host to SFA. You can throw the records out, the old cliche, but that is a fun night of college football. One of the most memorable nights I've had in a long time in college football. A couple years ago when we were there on a Thursday night, they love it. That's a big rivalry. McNeese going to Texas State, formerly Southwest Texas State. Nicholls State playing host to Texas State. And then McNeese will travel to Thibodaux, Louisiana in the final week of the season. And our final telecast. Looking to get a hand on this one, and does a nice job of getting it away. Barr goes down immediately. The penalty marker comes down.
It's not a halo rule violation, but you have to give the returner an opportunity to catch the football. So that's a 1 to 2 yard area that the official is going to have to make a gray area judgment. And he throws the penalty there. You see there, he's inside of 1 yard, and that's the penalty here on the kick coverage.
Huey Gardner with good coverage, but maybe a step too early.
Well, the fans not liking the call here, and I think a lot of people are very happy about college football doing away with the halo rule. Really just did not work overall in college football last year.
We need to the game on to 11.
That's a 15-yard penalty violation. Instead of the halo rule violation, they're going to be a little more costly on the coverage team with a 15-yard penalty, and Tommy Tate's not happy with it.
Not at all, but he's got to be happy with the score. 27-15, plenty of football left to be played here in Lake Charles. Well, 27-15 as McNeese is on top of Georgia Southern, number 3 in the land, leading number 2 in the land. As Georgia Southern with the football back at 11:08 to go in the ball game. Right up the middle, ball's loose, and smartly does Albert Turner get back on the football. Junior from Rydell, Georgia. Right place at the right time.
My old instinct's kicking over Kevin. I see a ball on the ground. I got to say, ball, got to get on it. Good job that time by Georgia Southern reacting. Inside handoff here to Austin, and the ball pops out. Sometimes quarterback, you know, the fullback actually reads the option, and we talked to Mike Seawalk about that yesterday. The quarterback sometimes goes and puts the ball in the belly of the fullback, and he's reading the option for him where he shouldn't clamp down on the ball. He said let the quarterback give it to him. A little bit of a mesh problem that time.
Second down and 10. They hand it again to Austin, and Austin fighting through, but right into the hands of Roderick Royal, and Royal's there to bring him down. Tom, we appreciate you stopping by. Continued success throughout the season, and our paths will cross several times over the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Gary, Kevin, everyone at Fox Sports Net Southwest, and tonight Fox Sports Net South, we really appreciate the attention for this game and 1AA football. We appreciate everything you guys do.
Thanks for joining us, Tom.
Just under 10 minutes to go in the ball game. Cowboys leading it by 12, 27-15. Georgia Southern, they have to score and score in a hurry, and they call a timeout. Chaz Williams would like what he saw. Call the timeout. He'll talk it over with his head coach, Mike Seawalk. Timeout of the field. We take it with them. A lot of football left to be played. Georgia Southern with some catching up to do. 9:43 to go. Big third down coming up for Georgia Southern. Facing a 3rd down and 5. Got to get the ball to the 37.5-yard line. Option play, not going to get there, not even close.
You know, most teams, you think that on 3rd and 5, they're going to drop back and pass the football. Not for Georgia Southern. That option attack that they have is potent and lethal enough to get them 5 yards. Chaz Williams decides to try to take it inside. A good job, good patience by the defense there of not allowing a play inside. And going to bring up a punting situation with just over 9 minutes left to go in this football game. Georgia Southern down by 2 scores.
Roy Ferris stepping up and making that play. Senior from Orangefield, Texas. And now Sean Holland will have to punt it away. Punting it to B.J. Sams. Good high spiral that turns over. Sams from the 29-yard line. Return of 13 yards out to the 42. And now McNeese would love nothing better than to take a little time off that clock already with a 12-point lead. Under 9 minutes to go.
Well, that's where this big offensive line needs to take over for the Cowboys and get some good hard running yards. Unleash Vic King with an offensive line running behind him and, you know, chew up a few first downs and get some time off that clock.
Darvis, well, the junior from Walker, Louisiana, has had outstanding night tonight. 15-4 as a starter, and he's just under 9 minutes away from going just 16-4. 11 of 18, 203 yards, but he got off to a great start. And just hands this one off between the tackles. Vic King right up the middle.
Good fill on defense that time, stepping up and taking on Luke Lawton, the fullback. The linebacker stepping up into the hole, and kind of a tough job there up front and making that defense of Georgia Southern kind of push back, but they're playing tough, Kevin.
Yeah, the defense, well, the offense turning it over 3 times in the first half didn't do them any favors. Got hurt by the big play, but overall they played well. King on the option, cutting it up, 50, 41-yard line. 18-yard gain.
Little down the line option. Pendarvis pitches it quick. He's got Luke Lawton out front blocking, but Vic King says, hey, I'm not going to wait for you, Luke. Take the pitch here. You see number 44 block, but Vic King says, no, I'm running inside of that one. Going to get some yards inside, and does a good job and a big play and a first down.
Broke 3 tackles on that run. Well, as quiet as Vic King has been tonight, he's over the century mark already.
Smart play by Pendarvis.
And he'll slide at the 37-yard line. Staying in bounds, not having to take the punishment. The clock continues to run.
Vic King slipped on the turf, Kevin. With his back foot, he misses. Watch him, he's going to fall and slip. So Pendarvis, instead of handing off a bad handoff, tucks it down neatly and gets a good job of running there 5-6 yards and at least a couple of yards, 2 or 3 yards. Makes something out of nothing.
That was what they said about him. You know, not flashy, gets the job done. He doesn't hurt us. I mean, he's a guy that won't go in. You know, he's not going to hurt you with a turnover or a dumb play. Well, he doesn't have that gun. Watch this. Vic King busting it outside to the 10. Touchdown, McNeese.
Well, that's the offensive line taking over and getting it free for Vic King. Good change of direction and balance. More importantly, balance in the hole. Vic King on this play on the cutback. Going to step up inside and cut back. Almost goes down on that arm tackle, but here he runs right over the defender, Aaron Whitaker, for the touchdown. A big play for the Cowboys.
38-yard touchdown run. Look at the numbers on the night. Vic King talked about how Georgia Southern's done a good job of containing him. He's going to finish this one with over 150 yards rushing this evening.
I think it's a big offensive line getting the push. Everyone's turning down there, and Vic King with a good angle and a good cutback here against the grain. Shifts it there, and watch him lower the boom here on the defender and going right through Whitaker, and that's a big, strong play by the tailback.
Take that one with you.
I'm not going out of bounds. I'm going to the end zone.
Player of the year on the offensive side of the Southwood Conference. What really hated, obviously, missing that championship game, and that aided him, and he would love nothing better than to get his team right back there and be able to make a statement, but this time by winning a national championship.
Well, we talked about it all night tonight, that a couple of quality programs, a couple of quality football teams, the systems that they have in place give them a chance to succeed. And just the plays went the way tonight for McNeese. You know, the turnovers early in this football game got Georgia Southern behind. They put the ball on the ground 3 times in the first half, 3 fumbles, 3 turnovers, and McNeese capitalized with a couple of field goals and really got themselves on track early. And Georgia Southern really was behind the entire night.
Well, they haven't given up this many points since 2001. It's been a long time Georgia Southern has seen an opponent like this one tonight.
Well, oddly as it seems, you know, depending upon the outcome of this game, these two teams may see each other again because of the Division I AA playoff system that's in place. There's a chance that these two could meet in the playoffs somewhere down the road.
Well, McNeese last year beat Western Kentucky in the regular season, ended up losing to them in the championship game. Western Kentucky, the same team that beat Georgia Southern in the semifinals. So Barr's been a busy man tonight. Lewis Barr breaking it to the outside. Hit and dropped at the 30-yard line by Ivan Stevenson. 20-yard return. And these guys are still flying around out there, even on the kick coverage. These guys that are playing special teams say, hey, that's the game within the game that we're playing, that I'm playing, and going to come out and make a big effort there on the kick return game. And Mike Seawalk's trying to find a way to get his Georgia Southern offense on track to where they can make up some ground in a hurry down 34-15. Yeah, the uphill climb has become a little steeper. 7:13 to go. Jazz Williams going up top. Underthrown. As Kevin Davis appeared to be open, but didn't quite get the ball to him. Williams only 2 of 12 tonight for 39 yards. Really struggled in the passing department, but then again, that's not what Georgia Southern does.
Yeah, they like to pound that running game, that spread option attack, which they run and run very well. To make this quarterback, Chaz Williams, come back in this football game and throw it a lot, it's not the thing that they do well, Kevin. They're capable of passing the football. I've seen some ability in this quarterback and the receivers, but that's not their forte of their offense.
That went incomplete. McNeese was bringing everyone, and Williams had to get rid of it in a hurry.
Well, that's something that Georgia Southern's just not going to work on. They're not going to take the time in practice to work on the blitz package every week so that they're capable of that, because they feel like their running game is going to keep them in the game where they want to be, and that's ahead. Now, down to the football game, they're being forced to throw the football, and this really plays in the favor of McNeese. They've got a blitz package, they've got capable secondary, and they've got a lot of speed out there on defense.
Here they come again. They can't get it away. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if things hold up the way they appear to be tonight. I think Carl Kearney is down on the field.
I think he's got
cramps on the near side. Okay. Let's see how things carry out tonight, because the #1 team in the land, Western Illinois, getting smoked right now by LSU, 35-7. That's a final. So 35-7. Well, last week, McNeese lost at Kansas State. They fell to number 3. So see how that works with the seedings this week, because you're going to have number 3 beating number 2 and number 1 losing.
Well, I'm not a prognosticator, but it seems to me like the number 3 might move up a couple spots.
C.J. Sams from the 20. How electrifying is this guy? And Sams down to the 35-yard line. Well, Western Illinois began losing tonight to LSU, or today I should say to LSU. Georgia Southern appears that they are going to drop this one, and McNeese a winner. Western Kentucky.
Now, these are votes over here to the right. These numbers that you have, these are first place votes for these football teams. And you know, with Western Illinois losing, much like McNeese State did yet last week with Kansas State, I would think that McNeese State's probably going to come up to that area right there at the end of this ball game, and be really surprised if they did not.
4 of the 6 Southland Conference teams are in the top 25. Breaking that one out to the 49-yard line. Jason Earwood makes the stop, but not before good yardage. You're starting to see some guys. Chris Thomas, who made that carry, starting to see some guys a little deeper down in the depth chart. Thomas, they call the speed guy. Recruited, not as a running back, not as a wide receiver, but just as an athlete.
Good job to get Corcoran into the football game at the quarterback spot and get Chris Thomas in there, get him some reps. Never know, you may need him during the season. Right up the middle.
Thomas, only 5'8", he's 160 pounds, freshman from Slidell, Louisiana.
The big offensive line, they've made some changes there as well for McNeese State, getting some of these number 2s, giving them some good game experience against a real potent defense, this Georgia Southern team. So this is good game experience for a lot of players in this football game. And you never know, things may change, somebody may go down, and you're going to be forced to play in conference, which is why these coaches like to get these players some opportunity to play in these football games.
Well, they will play 10 offensive linemen, make no doubt about it. That's just the way they do things here.
Wow. Did you see that run?
Yes, Chris Thomas running some folks over.
He ran right over the linebacker, stepped up in the hole that time, and Chris Thomas showing that he's got a little pop.
At Salmon High School last year, he rushed for nearly 2,000 yards, 1,962 yards. And in his high school career, 5,125 yards rushing and over 1,000 yards receiving. That's why they recruited him as an athlete. 4.40 for Chris Thomas. Lost the football there. He's quick enough to get back on it, I think. Cowboys got back on it. Thomas was the man with the recovery. Vic King, relatively quiet first half, but Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year from 2002, picked it up in the second half.
Yeah, the offensive line gave him some holes, something to work with, and he just pounded it out. And Vic King shows why he was the Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year a year ago, and just pounding away here in the second half against his Georgia Southern defense, and takes one to the house here and puts a little exclamation point on at the end, running through Whitaker at the end for the touchdown.
The numbers, 25 carries, a $147, and a couple of touchdown runs. Now Jason Cook will punt.
Don't mind the delay of game penalty. Just run the play clock down all the way.
Run it down to 4 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Some busy officials. This game now to 3 hours. About 3 hours and 10 minutes. Here they come. And almost got there. Great coverage again. B.J. Sams. He's done a little bit of everything tonight. So great coverage for McNeese. Georgia Southern, a long way to go and not much time to get there. They've got the ball next. 4 minutes, 13 seconds to go. 34-15, McNeese State. Pretty much in control of this one. Georgia Southern couldn't overcome some mistakes and turnovers early on in this ball game, and McNeese was able to take advantage of those, and they lead it. They're going to go on to win this one with 4 minutes, 13 seconds remaining. Got a new quarterback in there, Trey Hunter, has come in from Georgia Southern, guy that they call the consummate team player. Really beat out Chaz Williams as he and Williams went neck and neck the spring a year ago in the spring. And Williams won the job and pretty much took over, and with the season he had last year, put up All-American numbers. Junior from Guyton, Georgia. Really understands the triple option, and that's bad news right there as Carl Kearney's going off the field. Going up top. And incomplete. A little tall. Intended receiver.
It'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
Well, the book on Hunter is he may have a little bit more active arm than Chaz Williams. See him with his first pass attempt there.
It'll be a 3rd down and 8.
I think you've seen a pretty good effort by this McNeese State defense, Kevin, shutting down or at least holding in check this Georgia Southern offense. It's a very potent offense. It comes at you from a lot of different angles, and it's tough to defend, but I think McNeese has done a pretty decent job most of the night.
Kevin Davis trying to get to the corner, and where did he step out of bounds? It looks like it's enough for a 1st down. Cedric Lars was there to escort him out of bounds.
Well, that's an example that Georgia Southern offense there. Fake it inside to the fullback and take it down. The quarterback has the chance to bring it around. The fake inside, the quarterback, no, pitch it. Then he got the speed around the corner with Davis. And there's a lot of things that this offense can do, and it's tough to defend for the Cowboys and anyone else they're going to play this year. And it's got to be a real balanced defensive effort to stop a team like this.
That's how they run him out of bounds, but Trey Hunter will stop the clock with 3:26. At Georgia Southern, they play next week. They play Wofford, and that was the only home game that they lost last year, and that was in an upset. But they have to go to Spartanburg, South Carolina to take on Wofford, so that will be a bit of a grudge match. And, of course, obviously, it's Southern Conference game, so they start for real next week. So, for the first time ever, Georgia Southern is going to lose to a Southland Conference team. They came in here 6-0 all time against the Southland. They pitched this one out to Kevin Davis, and Davis with room to run. Rambling down to the 30-yard line. Davis knocked out of bounds there.
Well, when this is run, it's run to perfection, and Georgia Southern does a good job of it this time. Got to go down the line option here. Watch on the top of your screen. You're going to have 2 defenders blocked, and they're completely to the ground. We're going to hold it right there. You see 1 and 2. They're completely on the ground. That's excellent blocking. And then Davis is just going to run right in behind them. That's how you want to run that pitch option, and that's Georgia Southern doing a good job of it.
Gain of 40 yards.
Pretty good reps, huh, Kevin?
Yeah. Well, Davis, Jermaine Austin, they've all been able to put together big numbers tonight. You got 2 guys over 100 yards rushing, and you're going to lose the football game. You score only 15 points. Trey Hunter threw this one high and outside. Intended receiver Eric Irby couldn't hold on. Ivan Stevenson had the coverage. Georgia Southern now, that big game next week against Wofford in the Southern Conference. They're going to have some tough ones. Again, ones you may want to pencil in is at Appalachian State as they go to Boone, North Carolina for that one, and then they come home for Furman. So those will be a couple of the tough tests that they will really have in that Southern Conference. Of course, Wofford as well next week, so it starts quickly. Trey Hunter. This one may have been tipped and picked off. It is intercepted. It's Willie D'Artez. Willie D'Artez with his first career interception, and now the Cowboys can just run some time off the clock. And for the first time tonight, Tommy Tate actually cracked a smile.
Tommy's a little happy. His football team has really executed, done a good job. They've laid it out there on the line. I think this Cowboy team overall, offensively and defensively, has played. And I think what they've done more important, they've won the line of scrimmage. You see the pass there just kind of sail for Hunter, and D'Artez does a good job with the interception. A little celebration there by the Cowboys.
They deserve to celebrate. Took on a big-time team and did what they were supposed to do. Big-time program taking on a big-time program and defending the home field. These two teams will meet again in 2005, so it'll be a while before they get together again, at least in the regular season. Like we said again, may be destined to meet again in the postseason. Tommy Tate, National Coach of the Year last year. Won the Eddie Robinson Award. 47-year-old former defensive back at McNeese.
Spent his entire career here as a football coach, as a football player first, as an assistant coach, and now the head coach.
Right up the middle. Brent McFadder. He's a freshman. He's from Orangefield, Texas. Well, McFadder, up until tonight, had the longest run from scrimmage this season by a McNeese State player. Got some big plays tonight. Vic King coming up large. He had 3 guys in this game go for over 100 yards. King on one side for McNeese, and then 2 for Georgia Southern, and Jermaine Austin and Kevin Davis.
I think the big factor in his game early on was B.J. Sams and the impact that he had in the first part of his football game. He was all over the place, catching passes and doing things in the kick return game. And he was the X factor to get McNeese State started, I think, early, Kevin, and he's continued to excel throughout the football game.
Marcus Singleton, his 2nd reception of the season and first one of the night.
The total yardage by B.J. Sams has got to be up over 200 yards in this football game. He's someone that's really gave him a big spark offensively and in the kick return game.
Out to the 26-yard line. 65 seconds remaining in this one. So, long trip back to Statesboro, Georgia. Didn't quite work out that way.
Well, they just had to pay the money for the trip, huh?
I guess it's not priceless.
Not priceless.
They snap it one more time. It should just about do it as they hand it off. And Chris Thomas. As they whistle the ball in play, and they won't have to snap it again.
Well, Tommy Tate excited for his football team. His fans happy here at McNeese, and Mike Seawalk with his head down a little bit. He doesn't need to have his head down. His football team played well out there tonight, and they're going to regroup and play well in the Southern Conference. They've got 6 conference championships under their belt and a string of those, and I think when they get to conference play, they're going to be okay. But Tommy Tate and Mike Seawalk meet out in the middle of the field. A couple of excellent football coaches, both leading good programs.
A lot of respect there, but tonight the Cowboys win it by a score of 34-15 as McNeese goes to 2-1 on the season, while Georgia Southern falls to 1-1. We're going to take a break. We'll wrap things up from Lake Charles in just a moment. Southland Conference football on Fox Sports Net has been brought to you by La Quinta Inn and Suites, the official hotel of the Southland. By Spalding. By Art Carve, producer of the Southland Conference Championship rings. By the McNeese State University Alumni Association, and by the Southland Conference celebrating its 40th anniversary. McNeese State wins it tonight by a score of 34-15, and well, we knew this coming into this, and now Georgia Southern knows it as well. McNeese State, the real deal, and Georgia Southern certainly did not help themselves tonight. Without question, McNeese played well, and Georgia Southern, if they're going to prosper down the road, they're going to have to eliminate the turnovers.
5 turnovers a week ago against Savannah, 3 turnovers in the first half of this football game. Really got Georgia Southern off track, and McNeese State, they executed in the first half, got a couple of field goals, a big play-action pass to B.J. Sams for an early score, and so that really took control of the football game, and I think overall the offensive line for McNeese State really played a big part in this game, and Vic King got on track in the second half, really took it in control, and McNeese State rolled this football game, Kevin.
Yeah, planets were aligned for the Cowboys tonight. They win it by a score of 34-15. That's going to do it for us. So for Gary Reasons and our entire crew that worked so hard tonight, this is Kevin Eschenfelder saying so long from Lake Charles, Louisiana, where our final score, McNeese State flying high. They win it 34-15. You've been watching Southland Conference football, produced by Fox Sports Net.